colleges in Vashi, Ghansoli, and Nerul across Navi Mumbai region. Our vision towards the enrichment of education has made a realm for knowledge beneficiary in society and has made students outshine through their academic excellence and by providing them with the best guidance for the future.
A very good afternoon to one and all for the 1 week FTP program on quality in higher education and NEP 2020. So this is the first day and we are in the first session of the inaugural function. So before we start with, let's take the blessings of Saraswati Ma in the start of the program. With the blessings of Ma Saraswati, let's start this 1 week FTP program. As it's rightly said, the pursuit of knowledge, Gyan, wisdom, Pragya, truth, Satya, was always considered in Indian thought and philosophy as the highest human goal. I, Dr. Shobha James, welcome you all on 1 week faculty development program, Quality in Higher Education and NEP 2020, organized by IQAC and FDP Committee of Tilak College of Science and Commerce in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Pandit Madan Mohan Malagya, National Mission on Teachers and Learning, Ministry of Education, SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Before we start with this session, I would like to extend my courtesy to all our patrons of Tilak Education Society, our Honorable Chairman, Sri J.N. Kurup Sir, Tilak Education Society, our Director of Tilak Group of Science Colleges and Schools and Colleges, Dr. Sri Ajit J. Kurup, Dr. Sri Arun Janardhan, Director, Tilak Group of Schools and Colleges, Administrator Sri Anil Nair, and Dr. Anita Joshi, Principal, Tilak College of Science and Commerce, and our esteemed dignitaries, Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi Sir, Chairman, GAD TLC, Ministry of Education. He is also the Chairman of National Resource Center of Chemistry, Ministry of Education, Government of India. Professor Jaswinder Singh Ji, Director, CAT TLC, the Principal of SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi. We also welcome Professor Dr. Vimal Brahman, National Coordinator and Project Head and Joint Director, GATLC, Ministry of Education, for their continuous guidance and support in organizing this 1 week Faculty Development Program. A bit of glimpse about this particular the theme, that is quality in higher education and NEP 2020. As the world anticipates into a new era in all spheres of business, society, and economy, the education sector is not immune. So, the National Education Policy has provided an insight of what can be accomplished via educational change. The National Education Policy has provided an insight of a new made, which is quite evident that the time has come to implement a policy that is unquestionably student-centered. The new NEP 2020 teaching policy will need to be supported by knowledge acquisition and the use of technological tools such as four-quadrant approach, auditory forecast, curriculum, and evaluation in outcome-based education, and so on. The online faculty development program, this which we are conducting for a 6-day, will help the teachers to unearth the potentials they have and make them to comprehend various needs according to the current NEP 2020. So, on behalf of Tilak College of Science and Commerce and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, I welcome all the participants for this 1-week faculty development program on quality in higher education and NEP 2020. Now, I kindly request our Sir, Dr. Sri Ajit J. Kuru, Director, Tilak Group of Schools and Colleges, to share his few words of wisdom to our participants.
A very good evening to all. Professor A.K. Bakshi, respected Chairman, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Professor Jaswinder Singh, Director, Professor Vimal Rar, National Coordinator and Project Head, other distinguished invitees and eminent resource persons, Principal Dr. Anita Joshi, organizers and dear participants. On behalf of management of Tilak Education Society, let me warmly welcome each and every one of you to the 1-week-long online faculty development program organized by Tilak College of Science and Commerce in association with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, SGTB, Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Our parent body, Tilak Education Society, was established in 1984 with a mission of imparting holistic education by providing best infrastructure combined with innovative pedagogy for the all-round development of its students. Incidentally, our mission forms an integral part of the overall objective of the National Education Policy 2020. Tilak Education Society has organized this week-long faculty development program on quality in higher education and the steps proposed under National Education Policy 2020 to improve the quality of education. I'm sure through this session we will understand the role of teachers, innovative teaching pedagogies, and the future of teaching, learning, and assessment techniques. The National Education Policy 2020 emphasizes the outcome-based education, how our education system should be aligned to this concept, and structural changes that need to be implemented should be a good learning for all stakeholders. I'm sure, just like me, the participants would look forward to hearing from the eminent resource persons on how the changes suggested in NEP 2020, which would lead to the improvement in the overall quality of higher education in the country. Once again, I would like to thank you all for your presence and participation in this program. Hope you have a wonderful week of learning ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful words. Now, I kindly request our principal, Dr. Anita Joshi, Tilak College of Science and Commerce, to share a few words on this 1-week FD.
Thank you, Shobha ma'am. Good afternoon to you all. Let us start program with the prayer of Lord Ganesha. Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May May we all be protected. May we all be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our intellect be sharpened, and let there be no animosity amongst us. Peace, peace, peace. Respected Shri Jain Kurup Sir, Chairman, Tilak Education Society, Dr. Ajit Kurup Sir and Dr. Arun Kurup Sir, Director of Tilak Education Society. I'm very thankful and just wanted to express my gratitude towards Tilak Education Society for providing us this platform. Respected Professor A.K. Bakshi Sir, Chairman, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Professor Jaswinder Singh, Director, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, SGTV Khalsa College, University of Delhi, Professor Vimal Rar, Project and Head Joint Director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Ministry of Education. We are fortunate to have an amazing team like you, ma'am. Thank you for your support, and we are humbled and honored for your collaboration and support. My sincere thanks to all of you for giving us the wonderful opportunity to work with you. I'm speechless for your support, cooperation, and guidance, which you have shown from last 4 months. On behalf of Tilak College of Science and Commerce, I would like to thank once again. It gives me a great pride to be the leader of this team. Your hard work continues to inspire me. I see and appreciate everything you do for us. Dear participants, a warm welcome to you all for this 7-day faculty development program on behalf of Tilak College of Science and Commerce in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, PMMMNMTT. The aim of faculty development program is to enrich the knowledge of faculties through interaction with eminent personalities from industries and academics. The knowledge sharing will improve the teaching learning process to the students and benefit to the society. As APJ Abdul Kalam said, the purpose of education is to make good human beings with skills and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by the teachers, and teachers are the leaders of the society. I would like to quote the words of Aristotle that teaching is the highest form of learning and research is the manifestation. He stressed more on learning-oriented teaching and asked to focus on research, teaching, and learning processes. He said that as we progress in academics, knowing more and more about less and less becomes important. If the institution has to grow, it has to imbibe all kinds of holistic educations for coming generations. Keeping in mind importance of NEP 2020, it stresses that the importance of critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, encourages the use of diverse teaching methods and local resources. The National Education Policy NEP 2020 is a comprehensive policy framework that aims to reform and revitalize the education system in India. It focuses on recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student, achieving foundational literacy and numeracy, flexibility, no hard separations, multidisciplinary, and holistic education. Life skills focus on regular formative assessment for learning, synergy in curriculum across all levels of education. Teachers and faculty are at the heart of the learning process, and many more. Dear colleagues, success is a vehicle which moves on a wheel named as hard work. But the journey is impossible without the fuel that is self-confidence. We must know 7 C's of success: confidence, consistency, conception, concentration, character, commitment, and capacity to enjoy. Actual life experiences are more important in learning processes. That happiness of your life is depend on your thoughts. When it rains, all birds fly for shelter, but eagle avoid the rain by flying over the clouds. Problem is common to all, but our mindset in facing it makes the difference. Never tell yourself that sky is the limit when there are footprints on the moon. As a teacher, we must teach students that success is not determined by the size of one's brain, but it is determined by the size of one's thinking. No one is perfect, and no one can claim he is perfect. Perfection comes from experience and practice. Actual facts should be taught to the students. Sathiyo, in the era where knowledge is a power and innovation is the driver of the growth. यानी ज्ञान हमारे लिए पावर की तरह काम करता है, लेकिन उस ज्ञान को विस्तार देने के लिए हम जितना इनोवेटिव होंगे उतना ही देश का विकास अधिक होगा। सफलता उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके जीवन का लक्ष्य होता है और वे अपने लक्ष्य के प्रति ईमानदार होते हैं और अपने लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के लिए सच्चा दृढ़ संकल्प लेते हैं और इसके लिए वे लगातार प्रयास करते हैं। शिक्षा क्या है? क्या यह किताबों से मिलने वाली विद्या है? नहीं। क्या यह नाना प्रकार का ज्ञान है? नहीं, यह भी नहीं। जिस संयम के द्वारा इच्छा शक्ति का प्रवाह और विकास वश में लाया जाता है और वह फलदायक होता है, वही शिक्षा कहलाती है। माटी चुन चुन महल बनाया, माटी चुन चुन महल बनाया, लोग कहे घर तेरा, ना घर तेरा ना घर मेरा, चिड़िया रैन बसेरा। कौंडी कौंडी माया जोड़ी, कौंडी कौंडी माया जोड़ी, जोड़ 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 भरा थैला, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधु, संग चले ना ठेला, उड़ जाएगा हंस अकेला, जग दो दिन का मेला, जग दो दिन का मेला। क्या यही सच्ची शिक्षा है? ये जीवन का सफर हमें हर एक स्टूडेंट को सिखाना है। द स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड ह्यूमन वैल्यूज आर नीड टू इम्बाइब इन द स्टूडेंट्स लर्निंग। लास्टली, हमें तो जीतना ही है। जीत की खातिर बस जुनून चाहिए, जीत की खातिर बस जुनून चाहिए, जिसमें उबाल हो ऐसा खून चाहिए, जिसमें उबाल हो ऐसा खून चाहिए। ये आसमां भी आएगा जमीन पर, ये आसमां भी आएगा जमीन पर, बस इरादों में जीत की गूंज चाहिए, बस इरादों में जीत की गूंज चाहिए। विद दिस NEP 2020 हम आसमां जमीन पर लाने की कोशिश जरूर करेंगे। I want thank to everyone for this making faculty program a success, whether directly or indirectly. This FDP definitely fruitful to you all in accordance with NEP. Have a fruitful learning week ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful speech. We are motivated and a positive vibe has been around in the start of the 7-day FTP program. Now, I kindly request our guest, Professor Vimal Rao, ma'am, National Coordinator, Project Head and Joint Director, GAD-TLC, Ministry of Education, to share a few golden words of hers.
Thank you, Dr. Shobha. Good evening, everyone. Very respected Professor A.K. Bakshi, sir, Chairman GAD-TLC and Chairman National Resource Center of Chemistry, also former Vice Chancellor UP RTOU and PDM University. Very respected Dr. Ajit Kurup in absentia, and thankful and gratitude for the video message that you have sent, and my gratitude to the entire management board of Tilak Education Society. My very dear colleague, Dr. Anita Joshi, Principal of Tilak College of Science and Commerce, Vashi. Ma'am, very motivating speech to begin with, and I'm sure that the keynote session is going to be even more motivating, where because in FDP, I think, and in every class, first batch, we should start with the motivation. All the coordinators of this institution, which is Tilak College of Science and Commerce, who are helping us in implementing this FDP as a collaborative event. And most importantly, all my dear colleagues who have joined as participants in this 1-week National Online Faculty Development Program themed on quality in higher education and NEP 2020. So I welcome you on behalf of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, a center of Ministry of Education, Government of India under the prestigious Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, which abbreviation you must be all very commonly knowing, PMMNMTT scheme. Situated at my own premier institution, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, a constituent college of University of Delhi, I welcome you and seek blessings from Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus who was chosen to be guiding this center. And he is none other than he was chosen by Guru Nanak Dev Ji to take the preachings and furthering the cause of Sikh education and entire fraternity, humanity. I also will like to welcome each one of you on behalf of the core team of GAD TLC, which constitutes right from Padma Bhushan Trilochan Singh Ji, who is also chairman governing body SCTB Khalsa College, Professor Ved Prakash sir, who is mentor GAD TLC, Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, who is present with us today in this inaugural and to give the keynote, Professor Jaswinder Singh, Director GAD TLC, who will be joining in the valedictory with all of you, and I am Vimal Rar. The GAG TLC has a state-of-art infrastructure facility in terms of training teachers and preparing them for their 21st century roles. And that is what the objective when we got this center as the very first college who got this scheme, when the scheme was not even meant for state universities, because of the type of objectives and the type of quantum work our team had done at the national level. The center was inaugurated on 1st July 2016 by the then Honorable HRD Minister Smriti Jobin Irani ji. A few words of this inaugural I would like to share with all of you.
आज मैं विशेष रूप से बधाई देती हूँ प्रोफेसर बख्शी को, विमल जी को, जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत करके इस सेंटर को जीवित रूप में आपके सामने प्रस्तुत किया। ये एक टीचर की ललक उसके उत्साह का उदाहरण है कि भारत सरकार ने दिसंबर 2014 को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के हाथों पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय नेशनल मिशन को राष्ट्र के सामने प्रस्तुत किया। लेकिन उसमें हमने एक शर्त रखी कि जो भी इस प्रोजेक्ट से जुड़े वो स्वयं एक अनोखा टीचिंग लर्निंग का प्रस्ताव लेकर आए, और उस प्रस्ताव में जो अनोखा हो अथवा वो प्रस्ताव अगर शिक्षकों के माध्यम से आए तो विशेष रूप से हमारा सहयोग ऐसे प्रोत्साहित शिक्षकों को जो दूरगामी परिणाम देख सकते हैं, ऐसे शिक्षकों को समर्थन करने का हमारा प्रयास रहेगा। By teachers and my heartiest congratulations on that.
So why I am showing you this clipping and the Durgami word, I actually never realized when I was sitting in that inaugural. But now by looking back and hearing this again, and in the Corona phase, I think the way technology has got integrated in higher education, which we were as a team working from last 2 decades, is Durgami. And with that objective, that how we can prepare the teachers towards their new roles. The new roles will not only require them to prepare them in the subject-specific knowledge, but also the newer pedagogies and as well as the technological tools which will empower them. And these changes will be happening throughout. So one humble request to all my colleagues here is that FDP should not be done just for mere that, okay, we want 1 or 2 FDPs for the completion for our next level promotion. It has to be a continuous effort, and then only the changes can be seen in the education system. And more so in the times when we are having the policy formulation, NEP 2020 is now being implemented. There are so many credit frameworks coming. We have so many different implementation strategies being worked out with the central as well as the state governments. We all have to be knowing them and then looking at the strategies that how we can implement so that our students can be prepared for not only their professional competent requirement, but also in a holistic manner. So as a team, when we started work on this another prestigious project, which is EPG Pathshala project through our Center for E-Learning, where the digital content in a very structured format of the 4-quadrant format, now you are all aware, this was evolved, and the 4-quadrant format for EPG Pathshala was evolved by myself and Professor Bakshi, not only for these 6 subjects, but for all the 77 subjects, and it took shape in making the MOOCs also for the SWAYAM platform and the guidelines that how 4 credits should have 35 to 40 modules. But when working with the nation level teachers of around 2000 plus, we realized the teachers are not only lacking the skills in writing, but also in technology and the creation of digital resources. So we had this unique proposal, and then we got the funding from the ministry under this prestigious scheme. And now our programs have been shaped into various faculty empowerment programs, which are faculty induction program, faculty development program, webinars, workshop. But that's not all. It is also that what all can empower the teachers. So it will also require to give them access on generating the open educational resource, and their teachers e-kit has taken shape. Multimedia enriched videos, small e-learning objects which can be used by teachers as flipped classroom model. So these are the various activities of GAD-TLC, and we are working now in collaboration with so many institutions. So these are the various programs which have now taken shape. You can have seminars, webinars, workshops in collaboration with us, conferences, faculty development program of 1 week to 2 weeks, leadership development program, faculty induction program, which is of 1 month duration, and it is compulsory for every new inductee in higher education for the first level promotion, and the development of teacher e-kit, where it's a continuous 6 months activity, where after attending FDP, you know how the 4-quadrant format teacher's e-kit can be prepared. It not only prepares you, but it will also be useful to other teachers in your subject. The faculty induction program is again, I'm thankful to Ministry of Education that we got chance to contribute, and out of the 12 modules, around 8 modules we have given inputs, and thankful to the ministry for putting my institution name on this very important document. And since then we have been working out, actually we have traveled through how even the training programs have been given different shape, but then the major change happened in April 2020 when we shifted to online, and the funding was not there. It is now in a sustainable mode, and we worked out at how we can still continue for preparing our teachers into whatever areas they need to prepare for enhancing the education system. So through that, we have been conducting series of programs. We also have National Resource of Center of Chemistry, where we have the mandate of conducting ARPIC program. Prior to Corona, this is 2018, I'm talking about 2018, 19, 20, when there were no online refresher courses. This was the first refresher course which was launched, and there were around 75 centers identified. In the next one, there were only 42 left because some of them could not complete the requirements. And here again, I am happy to share that out of the 42 courses across the country in different subjects, our chemistry course in terms of enrollment and in terms of the quality of content was rated as the best. And Smriti Juviri Irani ji came again, and she felicitated the entire team of GAD-TLC. In the changes happening in terms of newer programs coming, I'm also happy to share that myself, I have been member of the committee who has evolved the regulations for running these online programs, which has now been merged with the open and distance education regulation. I've also worked on the outcome-based education being implemented at AICT in line with, again, with NEP 2020 and how the activities can be integrated. GAD-TLC is also instrumental in training Delhi University teachers in a massive way through various FDPs. Phase 1, phase 2, we conducted 8 FDPs in 2 weeks, and almost more than 1,000 teachers were trained through the various parallel online FDPs. And now we are planning 3rd phase, where the hands-on practical skill courses will also be launched. Coming to this very particular 1-week faculty development program, which is focusing on quality in higher education in NEP 2020. I'm first of all thankful to our collaborating institution, Tilak College of Science and Commerce, Vashi, Dr. Anita ma'am, and all the team who is coordinating with us. I'm also grateful to all the resource persons who will be joining and will be sharing their wisdom, their expertise, the information they have gathered over the year around this particular theme. And most importantly, all of you as participants, see, every resource person will bring, even if you look at their CV, there is something to learn. Around that, around the theme, I'm sure you'll be taking discussions, we'll be looking at your feedbacks, which we'll be taking every day. But then we talk about quality in higher education and National Education Policy 2020. It is a very, very wide topic. So in this 1 week, you will be getting the overview of all the things, but then as individual teachers, you'll have to identify that, okay, all these areas, I am already confident in terms of my level of expertise in these areas, but these are the areas which I have to strengthen myself more. And so that will come out with two types of teachers amongst you. Those who identify that this is the area where I am already confident. So what are you waiting for? You also, please, this is something that you have to take the change further so you can act as resource person, design a program with us. Those who find that, yes, we have to still learn in different areas. Everyone is a lifelong learner. Everyone cannot know everything. So different areas, even every day, we all keep on learning. So we keep on conducting various events, and then you can identify that which you can join and take it further. And why that learning has to be done, that is very important. The learning has to be done not only to implement our visionary policy NEP 2020, because even in earlier policy, we have been emphasizing on quality in higher education. But then this has to be done so that in the 21st century, our country is taken to greater heights, and that will be all dependent upon the type of teaching learning which we are doing with our students, because the entire next generation of society is being nurtured in our classroom. Rightly said by Dr. Anita ma'am, ours is such a noble profession. And I think you are the only one who can motivate your students, guide them, and that has to be done keeping their requirement. And that's why when you start with NEP 2020 and how the technology integration to have the implementation of all those policies, the technology can be helpful, the newer pedagogies will be required, and even the term outcome-based education, how that can be integrated. So with these words, I will not say further, but it is again my responsibility that please be active in your participation in the sessions. If not the live, you have to watch the recorded session. You have to submit all the assignment, quizzes, and projects as will be notified. And if even a single thing is not complete, we will not be able to give you the completion certificate, which can be used for CAS, and it will be only a participation certificate on which it will be clearly written that this cannot be used for the CAS promotional requirement. And for this, the decision of GAD-TLC will be final. So thank you, everyone. And I wish all of you a great learning in this 1 week online national faculty development. So over to you, Dr. Shobha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insight in the entire GAD-TLC working, the start, the growth prospects. You have also highlighted the importance of a teacher has to be focused on the student-centric point of view. Thank you so much. And also a gist of what the requirements for the completion, successfully completing of this particular FTP for CAS purpose. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, with the closure of the inaugural function, we'll move on to the first session of today. That's empowering teachers for challenges in higher education of 1 week FTP. For this, it's my honor and privilege to introduce the keynote speaker for this session Dr. Professor A.K. Bakshi, sir. An eminent academician at both national and international level, he has been founding Vice Chancellor of PDM University, Badur, Haryana. He has also been Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius. He has been selected through a global selection process. He was also Vice Chancellor of UP Rajashri Tandon Open University, Allahabad. Professor Bakshi has held very prestigious Sir Shankar Lal Chair of Chemistry in the University of Delhi for more than 2 decades. A double gold medalist and PhD from Delhi University. Dr. Bakshi, sir, did his postdoctoral training at the University of Ulingen, Nuremberg, Germany. He has been a visiting scientist at the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, and the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. His interest in the area of research is immense, includes theoretical polymer chemistry with special reference to electrically conducting polymers and biopolymers. Sir is the author and co-authored more than 180 research and 51 ebooks. He has edited, he has been a convener and the chairperson with the working group and 63 e-modules. He has co-authored and authored for PG chemistry courses and ARPIT programs of MHRD. He has guided many students who have obtained their PhD and MPhil degree under his guidance. He has received more than 28 awards, both national and international level. To name a few, a Vice Chancellor of the Year 2022 award, his Excellence Education Award for the year 2021, International Public Figure Award 2020, Acharya Chanakya Shikshavat Samman 2020. This is only to name a few from his award list. Professor Bakshi, sir, was also felicitated 2 times in the year 2009 and to December 2011 for distinctive and outstanding contribution to education, including e-transformation of the University of Delhi by the former President of India, Dr. A.P. Abdul Kalam, sir. Professor Bakshi has also recently, in the month of May 2022, been felicitated by the Union Minister, Srimati Smriti Irani, for his outstanding contribution as Chairman, GAD TLC, in the professional development of teachers of the country. Professor Bakshi, sir, has been member of various professional academic bodies, committees of MHRD, UGC, NAC, TST, CBSE, NCERT, and of various universities and colleges. He has been giving his expertise advice in these areas. Last but not the least, Professor Bakshi, sir, has also been the distinction of being one of the first person from the universities in India to have been selected as the member scientist of the 3rd Indian Research Expedition to Antarctica in 1984. This expedition built India's permanent base, Dakshin Gangotri, in Antarctica. So I heartily welcome you with due respect, sir, to start with as a keynote speaker for the first session of this 1-week development FDP program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shobha, for your very kind words of introduction. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to be a part of this faculty development program, which is being organized by Tilak College of Science and Commerce in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. I would also like to welcome all the esteemed dignitaries present on the occasion, as well as the participants from all over the country. You know, this faculty development program is a collaborative event. And Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center has been created under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching. Actually, this is a scheme of the central government, the main purpose of which is to empower the teachers. Because the thinking is that if you want to enhance the quality of education in the country, you must raise the competence levels of the teachers. Because the quality of an educational system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers. So we need to focus on competence of the teachers. So that's basically the spirit behind this central scheme. And you know, GAD TLC therefore has been conducting various programs on various aspects of higher education, ultimately to empower the teachers. So in that chain, the present program is to be viewed, which is again focusing on quality in higher education and NEP 2020. And I would like to compliment Dr. Anita Joshi for taking a lot of pains in organizing this program. I know how much she used to talk, and she used to, you know, she was very much concerned as the best possible program it should be. So that shows that you really want your teachers to get the best material under the circumstances. So a lot of gratitude to Dr. Joshi and her team, and of course, the management of Talak Education Society, as well as from Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. I would like to express gratitude to Professor Vimal Ra. She has been the main driving force behind this center. And wherever this center has reached today, during the last 7 to 8 years, it's mainly because of her efforts. So she is, you know, the real force behind this entire center. Having said that, now I will like to come to my keynote address. You know, there were many options open to me. But then I thought, let me give you a general talk based on my own experience, which would motivate you as well as prepare you for the challenges in higher education in the country in the 21st century. So keeping those things in mind, I have prepared this talk, and before I start, let me share my screen. Would you please confirm, is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible. You are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as you can see, this is the title of my talk. In the light of NEP 2020, empowering teachers for challenges in higher education in India in the 21st century. So, that's basically the title. And challenges, when I am talking, please keep it in mind that challenges are the opportunities in disguise. So in a way, I am telling you about the different opportunities which exist for you to enhance the quality of education in the country. It is going to be a motivational talk for you aimed at empowering higher education teachers to enable them to succeed and thrive in the 21st century. And if you follow what I tell and you implement them, believe you me, it can prove to be a game changer for your career. And this entire talk is based on my conceptualization and experience. And it won't be wrong if I say that this will prepare you for life. The thinking behind the talk is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's basically the spirit behind this talk. Why I am focusing on empowering the teachers? Because the quality of an education system can never exceed the quality of its teachers. Therefore, we need to empower our teachers. And these empowered teachers in turn will empower students. So that's basically the entire thinking process. Please remember that our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. India is one of the youngest nations of the world. 50% of our population is less than 25 years. 65% population less than 35 years. So it's a big advantage for the country if we are able to ready these children for future. And to a great extent, responsibility for this rests with you people, the teachers. Students may be just 20% of our population, but then they are 100% of our future. So please keep this thing always in mind. And we cannot afford to lose even a single child, because a child miseducated is a child lost. So we have to ensure that we do not lose even a single child. It would be a loss of a human resource. Having said that, let's first of all come to the traditional roles of a teacher in higher education. These are the major roles of a teacher in higher education: to disseminate knowledge, that is teaching; then to create knowledge, that is doing research and guiding research; and the third is academic administration and management. And then a teacher is expected to excel in all these three roles. Now, what I feel is, if you want to be an outstanding teacher or a researcher in any discipline you may be, you should have a very sound and deep knowledge in your discipline. You should have a clarity of concepts. And you should have done a lot of thinking on the subject. And in practical work, very proficient in practical skills. And then, you should have the passion to become an outstanding teacher or a researcher. And if you want to be an outstanding researcher, besides what I have said, you need to be an out-of-box thinker. You should have an analytical mind. You should be innovative and creative. And then you should have 4 C's. 4 C's means curiosity, creativity, courage, and commitment. These things make a good researcher. But please remember, all these things cannot come in one day. You have to work hard to acquire all this. And then, for both teacher as well as a researcher, you should have excellent communication skills and presentation skills. How you communicate, how you present your ideas, how logically and systematically you speak. Because, no one will really take the pains to listen to your ideas until and unless your communication is effective and impressive. So, that way, this communication and presentation skills become very important, and more so for a teacher. And please remember, all the great speakers were bad speakers at first, but then they worked hard and reached to the top. Having said in general the fundamentals, now I will like to come to what are going to be the challenges in the 21st century. And please listen to them very carefully. This talk has been prepared after a lot of efforts. The best possible things have been mentioned in this talk from all possible sources and my own vast experience in higher education. That is why I said these can prove to be a game changer for you. The first challenge in the 21st century is going to be the challenges of the present information age. We are living in an information age where we can get any information just by the click of a mouse. But then this age is an age of uncertainty. There is a future of jobs report published by World Economic Forum, based on which one can say, we do not know where our students will be employed tomorrow. Those jobs may not be existing even at present. So there is a lot of uncertainty about future. This is one thing you have to keep it in mind. Then this is also going to be an age of artificial intelligence. You already know how slowly and slowly artificial intelligence is taking over almost everything. So this is going to be an age where artificial intelligence will be equal to the intelligence of the students by the time they finish their education. So the question is, if I can have machines with the same intelligence as you, then why do I need you? So that is going to be a big question and a challenge in future. Because, all these types of jobs are going to be in danger in future. Mainly because of artificial intelligence, robotics, automation. Especially those jobs which are repetitive or predictable in nature. Those jobs which require no critical thinking, no critical analysis, no research base, and no specialization. All those jobs are going to be, we are going to lose them to all these artificial intelligence, etc. And third is, this is going to be an age of tough competition, massification. All universities, all colleges, all countries are focusing on increasing gross enrollment ratio. So this is an age where more students over the next 30 years will graduate than since the beginning of the recorded history. So what is the result of that? The result is going to be, there are very few traditional jobs, but then there will be going to be many takers. Fewer traditional jobs, but many takers. So that will create a big competition. For one traditional job, there are going to be hundreds of competitors. So that is going to be another challenge. So your challenge as a teacher is now going to be what to teach and how to teach, so that the child is able to succeed in a future which is so much uncertain. So that is something you have to keep it in mind. Second challenge is about 21st century learning needs. It is said, if you want to excel in the 21st century, you need at least two things. One is the rigorous academic content. You should be very good in your subject. And then you need 21st century skills. These two are the must. And these two taken together constitute deeper learning. So this is what students must possess if they want to succeed in the 21st century. Now you may ask the question, what are these 21st century skills? These are a set of abilities which our students or which we all must possess if we want to succeed. And these come under three headings, as you can see. One is the learning skills, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. Then literacy skills, information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy, IMT. And then life skills, flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. Look at this. These are total 12 skills in general, fundamental skills. And these are going to be the deciding factor in the 21st century. We all must possess this, because the way the challenges are emerging, these are a must. Now you may ask the question, why these have suddenly become so important? They have become so important because in this age, where machines are dominating everywhere, you cannot have machines with these skills. You can't have a machine which is critically thinking or creative, or which has leadership quality, or which has, social skills. So these skills that way are going to be very, very important. Skill development is something which continues to be a major concern in India, I feel. There is a need for skilled workforce increasing day by day. Although India has the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, but still, not much progress has been achieved. And there is a report that there is going to be a shortfall of over 4 million high-skilled workers in the world by 2024. So you can see that there will be jobs, but those skilled people will not be available. That is why many of the leading companies, look at these companies. These companies are now hiring people without degrees, provided they have the skills. So you can see how the things are changing in the educational world. And with all these changes, even the concept of success has changed. In the 21st century, the concept of the success is different. It has a different meaning now. And in the next few years, you will see that successful people are those who create their own jobs rather than working in the traditional job market. I won't be surprised if the concept of jobs for life will be over very soon. Nothing like permanent jobs, no. People will choose their working hours, live and work anywhere in the world, work with peers across the globe. And in any profession, just with one skill set, you cannot survive. Upskilling and reskilling will become an absolute necessity. Lifelong learning will be the key to successful and fulfilling career. So basically, what does it mean? That you will have to keep on changing yourself as per the needs of the time. And if you change what you are working on to keep up with your interest, the things which you don't like, people will start outsourcing that. Other day, I was reading in many now big offices and residential apartment, there is nothing like kitchen. People don't have time to cook. There is a big kitchen at the ground floor where they can go anytime and eat, but no concept in your own apartment of having any kitchen, because they think they can outsource things. And people will enjoy the earning potential that is not capped by a salary figure, nothing like scale or increment, any much you can earn. Things are changing so fast. So in the light of all this, in any profession you need to acquire competence for excellence. So quality education in the 21st century will focus on these three things. Again, I am repeating: knowledge, disciplinary knowledge, interdisciplinary knowledge, and practical knowledge, practical curriculum, wherever it is. Then 21st century skills, which I told you. And one more thing, and that is your values, your attitude, your traits, your disposition. That means your personality. And these three things taken together constitute competence. So, if we are talking about quality in higher education, this must focus on all the three things. Institutions must ensure that they have the conducive learning environment and they also have the adequate infrastructure so that they can make their students or learners competent. And now, it is widely believed that every student in this nation must be an analytical thinker, a problem solver, innovative and creative, an effective communicator and effective collaborator, information and media literate, globally aware, civically engaged, and financially and economically literate. These are the must for every student, each one of us. So you can see how things are changing. And as I said just now, these three things, knowledge, skills, and personality constitute competence. That is why, many, even in the new education policy, we talk about competency-based education and assessment. We must educate all the three things, and we should assess also all the three things. Normally, we have been assessing only knowledge, not even skills in a right way, but we should also assess personality. We should not only teach, but test also all the three. So, aim should be to acquire competence. That is what I would like to say. And one thing more I would say, there is an iceberg model for competence. Knowledge and skills are known to everybody. They are above the sea level, as you can see here. Personality is hidden below. But sometimes personality of a person becomes the deciding factor in his or her professional performance. And there is a report that 87% of all people fail not because of capability, but because of personality, because of their attitude, because of their thinking style, because of their disposition. And the worst part is, they do not know that their personality is coming in the way of their job performance. Because, personality development is often neglected here. The next challenge which I want to put before you is the need of creative and innovative minds in India. This is another challenge which I want you to be aware of. I personally feel that there is a creativity crisis in Indian education system. Look at the fact, no Indian scientist working in India has been able to get Nobel Prize after 1930. C.V. Raman was the only person who got it. He got it in 1930 for his discovery of Raman effect in 1928. That was in physics. In chemistry, nobody working in India has been ever able to get a Nobel Prize. These people did get Nobel Prize, but then they were non-resident Indians. Even Amartya Sen, although he is an Indian, but he has been staying for years abroad. Abhijit Banerjee is an American citizen. And please remember, Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award, no. It is for a breakthrough, which changes the course of history in that field. And to excel in research, you need enormous amount of creativity and open-mindedness. That is what you require. Willingness to collaborate. We make our students competitive so much competitive that they don't collaborate with each other. There is a suspicion. And then you need also perseverance and resilience. We sometimes want immediate gains. That is sometimes not possible. I remember a Nobel laureate in chemistry got Nobel Prize, I think 2-3 years back. He was 92 years old. And it is mainly because of our poor quality of research work that our ranking is declining. This is one of the major factors in research. Because we do not teach our students for research. We teach them to get good marks in the examination. There is a difference between the two. And this is the reason why we have poor ranking of our higher educational institution. In case of science, I sometimes feel best students do not come to research. First of all, after 12th, the cream goes to engineering or to medicine. Then some others come to pure sciences, and out of that, very few come to research. So that is, you may ask the question, why do we lack in quality research? We lack in quality research because, we have not been trained to think out of the box. We have not been trained to be making them innovative and creative. And it is linked with our education system. And there is a fundamental flaw in our education system. And the flaw is, just watch this video.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity, children are stressed, and the list goes on. All these are symptoms. But what is the root cause to all this? What is the fundamental flaw in the education system? Let us play a rapid-fire game. You have 1 second to answer every question. Let's start. First question, A4? Okay, no more questions. Did you think apple first? 98% of people are most likely to think so, because that was what we were told in our kindergarten. Imagine that this was done differently. Say we had asked you for all the words starting with A, ant, ace, April, apt. Different answers would have popped out of everyone's head. Do you see where the problem is? Before children start going to school, every child is unique. Every child thinks different. But the education system makes every child think the same. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system. Why did this start? During the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, the education system was designed to make children ready to work in factories. The factories did not require people to think, but to only work like robots. So, the education system stripped children of their freedom to think and destroyed their true potential. The same education system continues even today. Only the industries have changed. A study by NASA shows that 98% of children think different before they start going to school. As they go through this education system, at 25 years of age, only 2% think different, and 98% think the same. So how does the education system make every child the same? Let's go back to the apple example. Kindergarten lessons told us that A is for apple. We asked you for words that start with A. Our education system gave us the answers. We asked you a question. Answers make you the same. Questions make you different. Right from kindergarten, the education system keeps giving answers. Instead of asking children how plants make food, the science teacher gives you the definition of photosynthesis. Instead of asking them to describe the sun, the teacher tells them that the sun is a ball of fire at the center of the solar system. Through their years in school, children lose the capability to think on their own. Whether it is their choice of career or their relationship or any situation in life, they become.
So you can see how our education system, by giving ready-made answers to the various questions, strip our children of their ability to think on their own. Because, education is not the learning of the facts. It is the training of the mind to think, but that is missing. And that ultimately contributes to non-performance on the research front. Our education system still is outdated. On paper, we may talk anything, but in implementation part, it is outdated. Does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity. And please remember, without creativity, there can be no progress. and we would be forever repeating the same pattern. That is what we have been doing. Because, I feel creativity is as important as literacy. And creativity comes out of curiosity. You ask the questions, or you question the answers given to you. You put questions to that. That is unfortunately not encouraged. Another challenge which I feel is we need to enhance the quality of higher education in India. Because, ensuring quality higher education is one of the most important things we can do for future generations. One thing you should keep it in mind, education is relevant only when it is able to serve the needs of the changing society. Otherwise, it is meaningless. And in education, three things are very important. What do we teach? How do we teach? And how do we assess our students? And we need to improve on all the three fronts. If you look at the current education system, we have 21st century students, but the content which we teach sometimes is of 19th century. Courses architecture is of 19th century. And the methods of teaching, pedagogy is of the 20th century. So there is a mismatch. That is why there is a problem. Let's look at each. Curriculum. Curriculum is basically the total learning experience. And the biggest challenge to curriculum comes from the growth of knowledge. Knowledge in all disciplines is growing very, very fast. So fast that the doubling time of the growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. Shelf life of knowledge is becoming shorter day by day. There was a time when knowledge was getting doubled in 150 years, but now knowledge is getting doubled in almost 73 days. So you can very well imagine how quickly our knowledge is getting outdated. And in any subject, what we know is a drop and what we do not know is an ocean. Therefore, new education policy also says we need to revise our syllabi. We need to have light syllabi, only core essentials. But it should be modern because knowledge is growing very fast. Then we also need to have skill-based and industry-led curriculum. As I mentioned earlier, the importance of skills. Please remember, future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. Now, the challenge is teachers also need to be trained accordingly because teachers start teaching skills the way they teach knowledge. Knowledge is theoretical, skills are practical. We should not forget that. And this is one reason why there is a mismatch between education and employment. Many of our young people with degrees from leading institutions are underemployed or unemployed. Why? Because what skills they acquire and what skills the corporate world require, there is a mismatch. That is why the problem is. Then we have outdated syllabi. They increase the gap between what is learned and what should be learned. And this affects the quality of research because you are already much below. That is why, in many of the fields, we are still followers and have not become leaders. One reason is outdated syllabi. Then there is hardly any collaboration between school and higher education. And recently now, you must know this, that multidisciplinary approach is now being talked about, which is what new education policy says. Because new education policy says bringing about a multidisciplinary approach in education, both in schools as well as in higher education. What is this multidisciplinary approach? The basic thinking is that the real world solutions or real world problems are complex and they require knowledge of several different disciplines. So, for example, look at the climate change. It is a real world problem. But you cannot solve it with the knowledge from one discipline. You need knowledge of climatology, you need knowledge of political science, economics, green technology, sociology. So that is how the this multidisciplinary approach can be helpful. And this has recently, this curriculum framework was announced for school level. Now, earlier we used to have science, commerce, and humanities streams. Now they have been replaced by curricular areas. And curricular areas, just look at this. There have been 8 curricular areas which have been proposed at school level. Humanities, which will include languages, then mathematics and computing, vocational education, physical education, art, social science, science and interdisciplinary area. So streams are gone. Now you have the curricular areas. Each curricular area will have many disciplines and each discipline will have a few choice-based courses. That is how the things will work. For example, the life, if you look at the science curricular area, it has 3 subjects: physics, chemistry, and biology. And in each of them, these are the papers which we have. So you will have to choose like that. So slowly we are moving. So basic thinking is that multidisciplinary approach to education allows students to gain a deeper understanding of the subject matter through the lens of different disciplines. So that's basically the thinking. See, on paper it looks very nice, but the question is how to develop such a curriculum. There you need a lot of expertise. You need to have a collaboration with different departments. They should work together. Without that, it will not be possible. And those students who will come out of this multidisciplinary background, for them there could be a lot of job opportunities because they could branch out into different directions. But then there are some disadvantages also of multidisciplinary education. There will be so many subjects. There may be a lot of distractions. Students may be lost. They will be master of none but jack of so many subjects, or it may create confusion. So one has to work at various levels. Second part in education is how do we teach? First, I talked about what do we teach? Pedagogy, still, we follow talk and chalk method, which has many limitations. It is a teacher-centric approach, monologue, many complex concepts cannot be explained on the board. It presumes all students learn in identical fashion. You can't solve many problems in the class. It is slow and time-consuming, etc. And then this talk and chalk method focuses more on examination, rote learning, and scoring high. This mindset has not changed in India. This is a very serious problem in our country. This is today's reality in every discipline. Nobody wants to learn the concepts. Everybody wants 90+ marks. Any discipline you may take. See, I always say the irony of our country is focuses on well-filled mind. We keep on filling the minds of young learners with more and more knowledge. Like you keep on adding money to the bank account. But please remember what we need in reality is well-formed mind, which comes out of thinking, innovation, and creativity. That's missing. Real education is that which transforms the learner. Just as you plant a seed, this seed becomes a plant, then this plant becomes a tree. That is the transformation. That is not actually happening because they learn, rote learning, reproduce in the examination. Once exams are over, they forget everything. Just as they have taken out everything out of their account. That is why, we need to focus on learner-centric education. Because the thinking is, learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. So, learner needs to be engaged. The more the learners are engaged, the better their learning would be. That's the thinking. And learner-centric education does not have one single method. There are so many methods which are learner-centric. Look at the traditional learning. What do? Students are told what they need to know. They memorize it, and then a problem is assigned to illustrate how to use it. That is the traditional learning. But if it is a problem-based learning, which is learner-centric, a problem is assigned. Student will identify what he or she needs to know in order to solve the problem. Then they will search, they will learn and apply that, what they have learned to solve the problem. So that is the problem-based learning. So it is a learner-centric approach. The same is the project-based learning. Even collaborative learning is becoming very popular. Think, pair, share, TPS strategy. Think means a student is assigned a problem, student thinks about the question, comes out with an idea. Then the student is paired with someone else. Then the two together work on that, share their ideas, and come out with something better. And then they are made a part of the whole group, class, share, think, pair, share. They will talk to each other, everybody will give their viewpoints, and the best will come out. So it promotes participation, focuses attention, and engages students. It is something like, turning your classroom into a collaborative learning community. But all these methods are there, but are we implementing them? No, we don't implement. So training is missing. That is what I really want to say. Now, for example, flipped classroom is becoming very, very popular all over the world. What is the flipped classroom model? A teacher will create a video lecture on any topic and share it with a student. Student will watch the lecture at home 1, 2, 3 times and prepare questions for the teacher based on what is not clear, etc. Then in the school or college, teacher will facilitate discussion and answer students' questions, and student will ask questions and participate in the learning activities. So this is a flipped model. What is normally the homework now becomes the classwork, and what is normally the classwork now becomes the homework. But there is a thinking behind it. A teacher needs to have an approach how to make all this. Training needs to be given. See, if you look at the leading universities of the world, Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, they also focus more on case studies, experiential learning, project-based learning, problem-based learning, collaborative learning, and very little focus on lecture-based learning. We still continue to focus on lecture-based learning. So we will have to change. Please remember, if we teach today's student as we taught yesterday's, we are going to rob them of tomorrow. We must change with the changing times. This was my article in Times of India's Education Times, the creativity crisis in the Indian education system. This is my another article on flipped classroom, again in the Education Times. And third is the assessment. Assessment is very important. The fundamental purpose of any assessment or evaluation is to promote meaningful learning. Unfortunately, that is not happening. Even the new education policy says we need to transform the culture of assessment, because assessment drives learning. The way you will assess your students will start learning in that way. So that can be a good way to enhance the quality of education in the country. So that is why there is a lot of focus on changing the culture of assessment. Our examination system still is rote-based, mainly about textbook content, testing facts, definitions, etc. Anything coming from outside the textbook is branded out of syllabus or even protested. That is what our examination system is. Whereas if you follow Bloom's taxonomy, revised one, this is the Bloom's taxonomy for cognitive domain, that learning is a 6-level hierarchy. Learning starts from remembering, which is at the bottom, then comes understanding, application, and goes up to creativity. So learning should take you from remembering up to creativity. That means it should take you from lower order thinking skill to higher order thinking skill. And therefore, assessment should also test all these 6 outcomes. But in our examination system, in our system of assessment, generally we focus on lower thinking skill. We will have questions like remembering or understanding or a little bit of application. Beyond that, we do not have those questions. So that is a serious drawback in our system. Assessment process needs to be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of our students, such as analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. And in all this, teachers can play a very important role in assessment and evaluation. At present, there are about 4 crore students enrolled in higher education. By changing our system of assessment, by changing our system of teaching, by changing our system of curriculum development, a lot of changes can be done. And in all of this, competence, creativity are the skills of the teacher matter the most. But it is not changing much. You ask any teacher to set a question paper, within one day, they will set a question paper. Within a few hours, they will do it. They will see a few last year's question paper and set the next question paper. That is why, the whole purpose is getting defeated. We need to have those questions in examination which discourage rote learning, focus on conceptual clarity, thinking, innovation, creativity, real life situation, problem solving, and analytical abilities need to be enhanced, etc. For example, this QT has become very popular all over the country for admission to undergraduate programs in many universities. But this is based on multiple choice questions. And multiple choice questions have their own limitations. You can't measure the ability of the learner to apply knowledge to complex problems. There is no opportunity for the students to demonstrate the depth of their knowledge in multiple choice questions. No opportunity to showcase the creative, logical, and analytical skills. And then writing or oral skills are also not or cannot be tested in multiple choice questions. So just look at this. This is our national examination, but it has its own limitations. So what I mean to say is, one type of examination or one type of assessment will not give answers to all the questions, because every method of assessment has some limitations. Therefore, the best thing is, look at this. This is a very beautiful slide. For lower skills, remembering, understanding, and application, you can have MCQs, short question answer, matching, fill in the blanks, numerical, etc. But for higher order thinking skills, you should focus on projects, internships, e-portfolios, field works, etc. So it should be the blend of the two, which should be made a part of assessment. Anyway, next challenge is to embrace technology and become tech savvy. You know, it's difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. Very, very difficult. Look at this. What happens in one internet minute? 4.1 million videos are viewed on YouTube. 16 million text messages are sent, and so on. You can see. And now Japan is coming with the internet, which is going to be 100,000 times faster than the current speed. So technology, we cannot live without that, but technology should be used strategically. Because excessive use of technology has adversely impacted the generation of original ideas and hence creativity. You know, students are so much dependent on technology that they have forgotten to think on their own. They have even forgotten to write with their own hands. So it's doing a damage. Excessive use is doing damage. And ICT, you know, has impacted all areas of higher education. Look at this. This is the beautiful slide which covers everything. Technology has changed the way teaching learning is done. E-learning and MOOCs are becoming very popular. For experimental work, you have virtual labs. You have syllabi of revision through email or discussion forum. In research, you have electronic databases. Assessment, online examinations are becoming very popular. Professional development, ARPIT program is there, annual refresher program in teaching. ICT empowered pedagogies have come. So technology has changed almost every aspect of higher education. So all of you need to become tech savvy. This is going to be a big challenge in the 21st century. And then virtual universities are coming. National Digital University is going to come from this year. And you know, these universities are going to become very, very popular. Unlimited seats, flexible learning, minimal eligibility criteria, and so many big advantages. Another challenge is teachers need to be empowered for education 4.0. You know, India is already entering an era of education 4.0, which is the total technology mediated education. We are now witnessing fourth industrial revolution. 3 are already over. Fourth is based on artificial intelligence and cyber physical systems. So education 4.0 is related to industrial revolution 4.0 because, you know, workforce for industrial revolution must come out of education system. Therefore, education system will have to change. That is what we call as education 4.0. These are going to be the technologies which I mentioned. These technologies are going to come in a very, very big way. Gamification, machine learning, etc. Then Bloom's taxonomy is going to change. It's now becoming digital taxonomy. Digital tools are now coming. And what more, robot teachers are now going to come. You know, this is an Indian example. This is an artificial intelligence empowered teacher which has been designed. Students can ask questions via command. At least in physics, chemistry, and mathematics, this robot is correct with 100% precision. So question is, it may replace human teachers in future. So there is going to be a threat to the teaching profession, the way the things are going. But please remember, only a human teacher can bring real connection, socialization, and creativity to the classroom. This was my article about education 4.0. But please remember one thing, technology will never replace great teachers. But technology in the hands of great teachers can be highly transformational. You be a good teacher, lot of thinking. I told you in the beginning what makes a good teacher, but at the same time, tech savvy. This combination can do wonders. Something which is unfortunate is that teachers are now trying to become more tech savvy, but in the process, they have lost touch with their own subject. That is going to be a big disadvantage. This was my article in Times of India, that technology won't replace teachers. And now, in the light of all this, the roles of the teachers are also going to change in the 21st century. This is the next challenge, to prepare for the new roles. Now some teachers are so much worried that there will be no students to teach anymore in the near future, as technology might take over teaching our students. So there is a threat to the future of teaching profession and new roles for teachers. These are going to be the new roles. You have to become tech savvy in ICT skills. Tomorrow, if students are enrolled in e-learning or MOOCs, if they have some queries, you have to answer them. You must learn how to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. You must learn how to engage students by learner-centric pedagogies. So teachers will now become coaches or mentors rather than knowledge providers. In this 21st century, there are so many sources of knowledge. Teacher is not the only one, but their roles are different. Even e-content and MOOCs are developed by the teachers only. You should be proficient in that. You should have excellent writing skills. We have developed almost 50 MOOCs, the maximum in the country by any institution. But each MOOC development takes a lot of time. You should be very good in the subject as well as excellent writing skills and presentation skills. So, transformation of teachers is going to be the need of the hour. A change of mindset is required. Generally, teachers think what I know is enough. No, I must learn more. You have to be interdisciplinary in your thinking, upskilling, etc. There is a quote: birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. So I hope you understand. So regular professional development is the need of the earner, and professional development should be now more frequent. It's a journey, not a destination. And last, I would like to give some tips, which I think they are important for you. So these are the life-changing tips for building your personality. These are based on my experience, what I learned from my own life. But I want you to learn at this stage. As I told earlier, competence is determined by knowledge, skills, and personality. Personality sometimes we neglect. We have to focus on that. Personality means a set of traits and behaviors that characterize an individual. Personality doesn't mean your looks only. Please remember that. Your personality can transform your future. So why not develop it? And that's the big advantage of personality, that it can be developed. It can be changed with efforts. First of all, you should know the art of living. I think we are so much stressed that we have forgotten the art of living even. The art of living means the capability to draw pleasure from life and to succeed in the greatest test called life. You should learn that. Look at the World Happiness Report. India is at 136th position. People are not happy. They think they are not happy, always stressed, thinking this, that. They are not able to enjoy life. And in this whole process, their life gets over. So, learn the art of living. And the art of living lies in fine mingling of letting go and holding. Some things you should let go and some things you may hold. It's a mingling of that. Please remember, you do not find the happy life, you have to make it. Nobody will give you a happy life on a platter. No. And nothing like joy is not a tomorrow. Joy is today itself. Then be proactive. If you are proactive, you focus on preparing. If you are reactive, you focus on repairing. So be proactive. Proactive people don't wait for the ship to come in, they swim out to it. That's the thinking. Then another advice to you is decide your priorities in life. what you want to achieve after careful thinking, and then time management. These two are very, very important. Manage your time. This is the most important tip. Try to maximize your performance in the shortest time. Look at this. Every day is once in a lifetime. Invest your time, don't spend it. This is very famous Amitabh's quote. कल खो दिया आज के लिए, आज खो दिया कल के लिए, कभी जी ना सके हम आज के लिए, बीत रही है जिंदगी कल आज और कल के लिए. That's how the whole life passes. So, no, just don't look at the slide, try to understand the meaning and make it a part of your life. Please remember, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Don't let it go like that. Time management would ultimately be life management. And बंदी हैं हाथ पर सबके घड़ियां, मगर पकड़ में किसी के एक लम्हा भी नहीं. Time passes, time people change, time changes people. That's how the life goes on. Make the best use of the time. Look at this song from Bollywood. समय की धारा में, समय की धारा में, So look at these people. They were big people, mass following, how time changed everybody. So one doesn't know what is in store. वो कहते हैं ना कि वक्त दिखता नहीं है पर दिखा बहुत कुछ जाता है. And then live in the moment. Present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments. So keep that thing in mind. Life becomes more meaningful when you realize the simple fact that you will never get the same moment twice. Make the best use of it. You know, you must have heard this old song. And then, you know, few more qualities you should acquire. Self-belief is very important. Look at this quote. A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch, but in her own wings. So if you want to be successful, you must believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself. Self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start believing in yourself, magic will start happening. Try to practice it. Things will change. You may be in any line. Excellence should be your keyword. A penguin can never be a giraffe, so try to be the best penguin you can be. That is at least what you can do. Another is self-discipline is very important in life. You know, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you can control what you think, you can always control what you do. That's basically the meaning of self-discipline. Because, you know, there is nothing in this world that can trouble you more than your own thoughts. So, discipline yourself. You know, we think about 70,000 thoughts a day. And it's very rightly said, cages are not made of iron, they are made of thoughts. If you can learn self-control, you can master anything. Very difficult to begin with, but slowly you will develop self-discipline. Start practicing it. Then work hard sensibly. Many of you must be very hardworking. But direction is more important than speed. Choose your direction very, very carefully. Choose your strategy very, very important. You are, of course, free to choose, but you are not free from the consequences of your choice. You will have to face them. And while choosing the strategy, you should also choose what not to do. What to do and what not to do. Both should be considered. Because many people waste time in things which they cannot or they should not do. And please remember, life is a process. You work hard, you will reach to the top. No one rises suddenly in this world, not even the sun. Persistence pays. You have to keep on working. Look at this quote. Only the persistent people will achieve their goal. And look at what is on the right side. If you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you will end up 38 times better at the end of the year. And if you get 1% worse, then you can see where you will be. So keep on working, be persistent in your pursuit of goals, and there will be no looking back. Excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better. And then many of us are not able to make mark because they live in a comfort zone. Please remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's only after you have stepped out of your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. So come out of that. Many people think, oh, I'm getting good salary. My husband or my wife also getting good salary. Children are well set. Why should I work? So that is a sort of a comfort zone. Then overcome the fear of failure. You know, there is a quote, जब तक तुम डरते रहोगे, तुम्हारी जिंदगी के फैसले कोई और लेता रहेगा. So overcome the fear of failure. Failures can be the pillars of success, depending on how you take them. Your attitude towards failure determines your altitude after failure. So mindset is very, very important. You know, sometimes people talk about fail first attempt in learning. It's something like that. And then stop worrying and start living. This is a big problem amongst all of us. They worry a lot. Stop doing that. Worry is a misuse of your imagination. Please remember that. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Just because we keep on thinking. One day you will look back and realize that you worry too much about things that don't really matter. But by that time, time would have gone. You can't undo the things. So prudence demands you should act now. You know, this is the best slide. You must keep it in mind what are the things in your control and what are the things out of your control. Don't worry about the things which are not in your control. What happens around you, what people think of you, what is going to be the future, what are the actions of the others. Why you worry about that? You worry about the things which are in your control, like your attitude, your effort, your focus. So this can be a big, big game changer for you if you keep this thing in mind. And then, you know, one of the very important interpersonal skill is empathy. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. That means you put yourself into another's shoes. And this is the best way to connect with another person. Try to see from other person's point of view. This will help you a lot in your life. Look at this quote.
I recently came across this image and story and had to share it with you. The man in this picture doesn't know that there is a snake underneath. The woman doesn't know that there is a stone crushing the man. The woman thinks, I am going to fall and I can't climb because the snake is going to bite me. Why can't he use a little more strength and pull me up? The man thinks, I am in so much pain, yet I'm still pulling you as much as I can. Why doesn't she try and climb a little harder? The moral is, you can never see the pressure the other person is under, and the other person can't see the pain you're in. This is life. Whether it's with work, family, feelings, or friends, we should try to understand each other a little more. Try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. Put yourself in their shoes. Learn to think differently. Be more open to other perspectives and opinions. A little kindness and patience goes a long way. Everyone we meet is fighting their own battle. Some you will never hear about. You may wish other people would be more understanding and compassionate and helpful to you. So be all those things for other people. Lori Deshen once gave some priceless advice. She said, practice the pause. Pause before assuming. Pause before accusing. And pause whenever you're about to react harshly. You might avoid saying things you'll later regret. Be kind to each other.
And when you see yourself in others, you will not be hurting anyone else. So that's basically the thinking. And then, one common problem is we get angry. You should try to control anger also, because the fire of anger will burn you first. Keep this thing in mind. So try to control your anger. Never say mean words out of anger, because your anger will pass sometime, but your mean words can scare a person for life. So use either kind words or be silent. I think the best way is to be silent when you're very angry. And it is said, never reply when you are angry, never make a promise when you are happy, and never make a decision when you are sad. Maybe in all the three cases, you may have to regret later on. These are the golden rules of life. And one thing you should keep it in mind, beneath anger, this is according to psychology, beneath anger, there always lies some fear. And one more thing, arrogance. Many people become arrogant when something, they get or acquire some position. I think this is something you should avoid. Arrogance is the surest path to failure. कभी किसी चीज का घमंड आ जाए तो शमशान का एक चक्कर लगा आना, तुमसे बेहतरीन लोग वहां राख बने पड़े हैं. कीप दिस थिंग इन माइंड. मत कर अपने आप पर घमंड ए इंसान, खुदा ने तेरे जैसे कितने बनाकर मिट्टी में मिला दिया. So that's basically the thing. Ultimately, we have to go to dust. We are dust and we will return to dust. So keep this reality of life always in mind. Then you will never become arrogant. This is just a passing phase. Then always have a high opinion of yourself. Having a low opinion of yourself is not modesty, it is a self-destruction. Have a high opinion of yourself. It's a necessary precondition for happiness and success. And in this slide, I wanted to share with you some of the habits of the most successful people in the world. Common habits. Strategic planning and deliverance, one. Laser sharp focus and determination. Risk-taking ability, courage. Health and fitness, they took care of their health and fitness, because at one stage in life, you will realize how important is health and fitness. And then hard work and consistency, never give up attitude. So these are very common habits you should try to acquire. Please remember, success is not the product of daily habits. It's a product of daily habits, but not of random activities, not. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the end, at the end of the day, your biggest competition is you only. You have to win over yourself. You should not become the puppet of your mind. You should become the master of your mind. You don't have the problem. You are the problem. Your mindset is the problem. Attitude is everything. वो कहते हैं ना कि स्वर्ग भी तू है, नरक भी तू है, इन दोनों का फर्क भी तू. Keep this thing in mind. जिंदगी छोटी नहीं होती है, लोग जीना ही देरी से शुरू करते हैं. जब तक रास्ते समझ में आते हैं, तब तक लौटने का वक्त हो जाता है. So, whatsoever I have told you, these can change your life. Believe you me, nobody told us when we were young students. And now I sometimes feel, why should it not be made a part of your entire curriculum? But this is it's never too late to be what you might have been. So start from today itself. Your life will change. जो मिल गया उसके लिए खुश रहिए, बाकी change. Keep on working hard. There is a very famous, एक quote है, दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का एक खिलौना है, जो मिल गया वो मिट्टी और जो ना मिला वो सोना है. That is the normal thing. So, greed का कोई end नहीं होता. तो ठीक है, अपने आप में satisfy रहिए. Challenges keep us fresh. Today I have talked to you so many challenges. This is starting from challenges of the information age up to personality. Everything is a challenge for you. And there is a very famous quote: a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, humans are not designed to be happy in status quo. So continue to remain dissatisfied with yourself so that you can get better and better. Challenges are what keep us fresh. This is a good principle to have at work and in life. So that's what I started with my first slide. Challenges are the opportunities in disguise. So here are the opportunities for you to grow. Don't take every challenge as a problem, but take every problem as a challenge. And then you will enjoy. Challenges are the doorways to excellence. View them in this way. So, last slide, I think. These are the lessons people learn too late in life, but I am telling you now. Keep them in mind. Everything in this world is temporary. So don't get attached to anyone. Life is not fair. Don't expect life to be fair with you. Beneath anger, there is always fear. Things don't matter that much. People matter a lot. Once you lose some people in life, they create a big vacuum in life. A lifetime is not very long. Very soon you will realize that life was too short. So it's not a very long time. Time will pass very quickly. And so many years have passed also in your case. You may be 30, 40, 50 years, any age, but all that time is gone. And then you played it too safe. You should take some risk also in life. Life has no reset button. Live every day like it's your last day. Make the best use of the time. Then you will enjoy. You will start enjoying your life when you try to make the best use of every moment of your life. Most of the people, don't live. They merely exist. That should not happen. Live your life. Invest your time. And, realization comes to everybody in life, but generally by the time it comes, it's too late. But you can't do anything. Whatsoever time is gone, gone. This is the theory of life. Look at this. When flood comes, the fish eat ants. But when water dries, the ants eat fish. Life gives chance to everyone. Just have to wait for our turn. So wait for the right time. Anyway, thank you very much. This is one song which I like, but I don't know whether it works or not.
जीवन कहीं भी ठहरता नहीं है जीवन कहीं भी ठहरता नहीं है आगे से तुमको से डरता नहीं है मन चलेगा तो चलते चलेगा
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I once again thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to deliver this address. Your feedback is welcome. My cell phone, my email ID is there. Please remain in touch, and all the best for the success of this faculty development program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. A wonderful session, absolutely empowering the challenges which are to be foreseen. Your highlight on the unforeseen challenges, in particular with the AI, robotics, automation, the three L's what the faculty need: the learning, the literacy, the life skills. We have explained it in a very elaborate and in very excellent manner. The need for creative and innovative needs, the challenges for ensuring quality of higher education in India, the evaluation challenges, what we are facing, embracing technology, not to the negative part, but embracing it in the positive sense. We, the teachers, have to be empowered to the 4.0 because we have to transform the learner. To transform the learner, you have very well explained how a teacher has to be transformed from the traditional learning method to the current teaching pedagogy learning method, so that we are able to transform our children when they're coming to us and from leaving the campus or the universities from our end. You also very well explained the 6 levels of Bloom taxonomy, how it can be implemented in the evaluation system. The entire session was very, very excellent, sir. You also gave us the tips on how we could change our lives by building personalities, which is enhancing the competence of our knowledge, skill, and personality. A crisp knowledge about changing the art of life, how to make ourselves happy, how to be proactive, how do we set our priorities, manage our time, self-belief. Everything was very, very crisp and very, very efficient for the teachers. If they implement, we'll be in the next level and skilled for our coming generation who come to us for their learning progress. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now, participants, we can go ahead with the question and answer session. If anyone have any questions, you can unmute and you can ask, sir.
Good evening, sir. Dr. Anita Joshi, Bakshi sir. Sir, what should be the role of teachers in classroom as per NEP 2020? What is your views, or what is your ideas? How should be the teachers in the as per accordance in NEP 2020? Sir, kindly explain your views, sir.
See, I have already said in my talk that NEP 2020, lays a lot of focus on the role of technology in education. And it is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. And because of technology, so many changes are already occurring. E-learning, MOOCs are becoming very, very popular. Then virtual labs are coming, and at every aspect of higher education, technology is coming. So then I also talked to you that in NEP 2020, there is a lot of focus on learner-centric education instead of having a teacher-centric education. Here also, I told you about the different innovative pedagogies which have come, which are learner-centric pedagogies. Now, teachers need to embrace them. Teachers need to adopt them in the classroom. Teachers need to become tech savvy. Teachers need to be, answering the queries of the students who are enrolled in e-learning and MOOCs. They need to answer that. So the roles of the teachers are, as I said, changing significantly. I talked to you today also about flipped classroom model. Why don't they start applying it in the classroom? Any topic which is of their interest and which they think is very well known to them, prepare a short video on that and share it with the students, and let the students watch that videos and come out with the various questions and encourage. One thing which I would like to mention here is nothing can be achieved big without active participation of the teachers. Teachers have to play a pivotal role in the changing scenario. It is the teachers who have to guide students at every stage, because they come to our universities or colleges. They are at our mercy. We need to guide them properly with all that new. So many changes are there. I don't know to what extent teachers will be able to do that. That is why, these faculty development programs can be eye-opener for many of us as to how the education scenario is changing. And they need to embrace various things, designing curriculum, designing assessment, designing, teaching pedagogies, then everything almost. Whatsoever I mentioned in my talk, ultimately it is meant for the teachers only.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Anita, the biggest problem is we are not able to change the mindset of our teachers.
Correct. Mindset is important. That's why I took that point in my
They
speech
still
also.
think what I know is enough.
Yes.
And they also think that all these lectures which we are giving, they are only for completing the formalities of an FDP.
Completing the portion formalities. Correct, sir. Correct.
That is what they think.
Yes,
Once
sir.
the course is over, they forget everything and again they come back to their traditional ways. That is
Yes,
why
sir.
things are not changing.
Yes, sir.
Until and unless government makes it mandatory that this will have to be done now, things will not change. We can't leave it to them. No, it becomes difficult. That is what I always say. Most of us live in a comfort zone. Why to change? Anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, then Professor Vimal has also joined, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It was really a motivating
I'm not
session,
late for
as
your
always.
session.
Yeah.
You were to start at 6. Okay. Anyway.
Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful session. Ma'am, shall we start with the second session?
Yeah, please go.
Okay, now we are starting with the second session. The second session topic is outcome-based education at NEP 2020. So for this, my honor and privilege to introduce the speaker of the session, Dr. Professor Vimal Ram ma'am. Vimal Ram ma'am is from Department of Chemistry, SGBT Khalsa College. She's the project head and joint director of GAD TLC of MHRD, the coordinator, National Research Center of Chemistry of MHRD. Ma'am is a leading women entrepreneur in the field of e-learning with a decade of experience in corporate e-learning world and is amongst the pioneer in implementing ICT in higher education in the country. She has to credit many research papers, patent, books, presentation, projects, and invited talks at local, national, and all international forums. In the field of e-learning, Professor Ram ma'am has made a mark at the national level in various activities such as development of e-content, teachers e-kit, MOOCs, empowerment of teacher in ICT skills, introduction of newer teaching methodologies, The four-quadrant format of e-content has been co-designed by her for e-PG Pathshala project of UGC. She is also managing 3 centers working in the field of e-learning at the national level. At Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, MHRD, Government of India, she has trained more than around 70,000 teachers, for which she has recently felicitated by Union Minister Srimati Smriti Irani. She has been contributing in policy making at national level in various committees like online courses, regulation of 2018 of UGC, e-governance committee, technical committee, and many more. She has been contributing in policy making of various national level committees. At her recent feather in her cap, she has been selected as member of the G20 consultative group on making tech-enabled learning more inclusive, qualitative, and collaborative at every level, in which she is one of the 4 experts from India for setting standards for e-learning content, technology, and pedagogy for online digital teaching learning so that interoperability of digital learning content can be done. So I welcome you, ma'am, for the second session of outcome-based education at NEP 20. Ma'am, your voice is not audible. It's in.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Shobha, for the kind words of introduction. Good evening, everyone, once again. Let me just share my screen. And the topic that I have chosen for this particular session is in tune with your FDP and is what is required for all of us to get prepared as teachers. And what I am going to do is I am going to continue where Professor Bakshi has left, given you an overview and the need of the changes. But then what will be the implementation strategies which institutions, universities, colleges, and teachers have to adopt? So I'll be talking about in a broad view. But before I do that, I would like to know my audience. And for that, a small online activity, go to menti.com and enter this particular code 2748 4441. Menti.com 2748 4441. And let me take you to this. You'll be able to see some questions, just 3 of them. I'd like to have your opinion. So first question is, have you read the National Credit Framework? Are you aware about this? Yes, no, partially, or I don't know about this document. Can I see some opinion coming from all of you? Okay, so one has already responded. Just go to menti.com and use this code 2748 4441. So 2 answers as of now. Five of them. Because it will help me go in more depth of this particular topic. You can do it by desktop, you can do it by mobile. Any browser, you just go to menti.com and use this code. Okay, some idea I got. It's a mixed lot. Let me go to the next question now. What terms come to your mind for outcome-based education? So I'm waiting for your answers. Can you write it down here? Those who cannot go into Menti, then they can write it on the chat. Deepa, the code is there on this screen. You can see joy@menti.com.
Ma'am, I also put it in the group, FTP group.
Okay. So this is the code. You can all this, and this way you can even interact with your students, even inside class. Why not immediately take the opinion poll about the topic that you're going to introduce? So learner-centric, result-based, innovative, NEP, real-world experience to face the future. Teacher as facilitator, fine. So entrepreneur, skill-oriented, better result, evaluation, assessment. Okay, so many thoughts coming, and you know it all. I'll just restructure for all of you. Okay, let me go to the next question. What type of assessments do you take in your classrooms? What type of different assessments? So we're getting these answers: traditional, assignment, role plays, learning, quiz, descriptive, quiz, seminars, MCQ, explain the concept, okay. Objective oriented, research based, presentation, reports. Again, there are some quizzes, repetition, presentations, question answer, short answer questions, role play is coming, new thing. Any other new addition you want to make? Analyze, role play, presentation, MCQ. Study case in the chat, Anita Joshi ma'am has written. Case studies.
Yes, ma'am. Case studies.
Case
Yes.
studies, yeah. Okay, so I have your sufficient input now, and let me go ahead. And I'll be just constructing around this, trying to put it in a more structured format. You already know it all. So now when we are talking about National Education Policy 2020 and implementation strategies, how we should go ahead, I think we'll have to restructure all of these. What I mean by all of these is, first of all, we should be aware about overall credit framework, which has to be as per national credit framework. There are non-uniformities across our country, across different institutions, even across different courses in the same institution. So they have to be brought in par with the same duration, for which will be varying for different theory or practical or experiential learning. We'll talk about that. Once you have done a proper structuring of this entire framework for your different courses, then the curriculum and courses have to be aligned as per outcome-based education. And when I say outcome-based education, the details of COPO mapping are obvious. Once you decide, make this, which again has to be continuously kept on improving, looking at the industry inputs. We'll go into detail of this. Then how do you take it as a teacher in your classroom situation? And that's where the teaching learning methodologies, which have to be ICT empowered, and blended learning, some models Professor Bakshi also talked about, how do you implement them there is a lot of challenge in terms of different topics, different subjects, and as per the competency level and technology of that very particular teacher. In order to adopt the blended learning, you have to also prepare e-content, and then blended learning can use that as a base to empower the teachers as well as students. And not only this, the online courses, MOOCs, all that can also be offered, and mix and match of those, that some courses through online mode, some as MOOCs, some as more skills hands-on, that also will be fitting into the framework. You'll not be able to design that unless or until you know details of this as well. And then when you do the assessments, multiple assessment methods have to be used, which is clearly highlighted in National Education Policy 2020, that the assessment should be scientific and technology empowered. And then once we are having these assessments, again, it will be so much to know in the assessments, formative, summative, and then how you take all these evaluations and do the gap analysis and a periodic review of what you have prepared for, making it better in the light of the industry and the market forces changes to make it better for the next batch. So it has to be a continuous process, and the inputs will be coming from all the processes that you're going through, so that the next year, next batch, you keep on improving better and better. But this will require understanding of many important things, which I'll be touching upon in my presentation further. So let me take them one by one. First of all, I will talk about the overall credit framework. If you have to design for any course, it has to be as per the National Credit Framework if you are implementing NEP 2020. The National Credit Framework is already a document available in public domain. It was released in April 2023 only. And this is a framework which has been designed by the high-level committee comprising members of all the regulatory bodies in higher education as well as school education. So it is not simply a framework which will be pertaining to the higher education, it will also be impacting the school education. It clearly facilitates the flexibility and mobility which has been talked about in NEP 2020. And it provides equivalence between the general education and the vocational education. So, as an example, if I like to take, there will be many students who will enter into polytechnic engineering and can get the degree of engineering. So, the general education and vocational education will be at par. Multiple entry and multiple exit options will be there, where the students will be able to decide their time of learning that, okay, I have earned the credit till here at UG first year, I want to now go out, do some job, earn some, and then come back into the system, maybe in different format. Through some online courses, there can be more credits earned, and then again, maybe third year, he or she enters into the face-to-face scenario and completes the degree with the requirement. So what is being talked about in this framework is to provide a broad-based, multidisciplinary, holistic education. And the moment you say multidisciplinary, you will see so many institutions which are only working on one particular, that there are only engineering colleges, there are only law colleges, there are only medical colleges. So all that has to be changed, but it will be a gradual process. It cannot happen overnight. So to the extent, and now you must be aware that even the engineering courses, there were like no humanities departments in these institutions. Now they are also being open. Management courses are there, so that it can be amalgamated in a proper way. In order to implement all this and the need which has been rightly pointed out by Professor Bakshi is we have to be imaginative and need-based curricular structures have to be evolved. Creative combination of subjects and disciplines have to be offered to our students. And we have to do the guiding also, looking at, yes, what is their ambition, what is the professional path they want to take, then what type of subjects they should be looking into when they are opting, because there will be so many skill enhancement courses, value addition courses, which will be available as options and electives to the students to earn credits. We should also be aware about these terms very clearly now, which are not new, but they have been restructured to bring uniformity in how they are being used in different way across different institutions. So there is a uniformity which is being brought by this particular approach. So we should be knowing credit levels, credit and credit points. Although it's a very vast document, but I am taking the very important points which all of us should be having as a ready reference. So credits, the definition which is given here, and you have to look it from two views. First definition talks about they are a function of achieving the desired learning outcomes for a program, course, or training determined by the successful assessment. Now, if you just analyze this, can you see the learning outcomes and the assessment? They are going hand in hand. And that is what is the entire gist of the so-called outcome-based education. If you write learning outcomes, but they are not getting assessed and not getting mapped with the learning outcomes, the questions, the activities, the assessment that you are doing, that is of no use. So they have to be looked up in that very particular aspect. Other thing is, if a student says, I am having these many credits at this particular level, and there are these so many credit points. Now, what will the student be able to do with that? Obviously, in that spirit, the credit will be a recognition that a learner has completed a prior course of learning corresponding to a qualification at a given level. So that in the multiple entry option, if he wants to come back again in the system, then where he or she will be qualifying to enter at the UG first year level, second year level, third year or PG level. So all that, so credit in a way will be looking into both of these aspects. And in order to have uniformity, one credit has been equated to 30 notional learning hours. Now, in the current scenario, we talk about one credit will be equal to, yes, can I get some answers? In the chat, it's 40 marks. Bhavna says one credit is 40 marks. Brijesh
Yes.
says one credit is 15 hours. So let us make it very clear that credit has actually nothing to do with the marks. It is more aligned to the number of hours the students will be putting. And then obviously any number of marks you give to the student, if you are taking many examinations, many formative assessments, you can always grade down, scale up and scale down. That is not an issue. So we don't count in terms of number of marks, first of all, but then it has to be equated to hours. And what are those hours? This document talks about 30 notional learning hours. They are different from teaching hours. So this is now a learner-centric model. Till now, we have been talking about credit from the teacher-centric, but then that also we will have to look, because when we make timetables, when we really implement, and then there can be variation in terms of the different learning hours of different students in our classroom. So that's why it needs to be equated with the teaching hours as well. So this one credit is being equated to 30 notional learning hours of the student. And then they will be obviously successful. For getting that credit, you know the entire process, that okay, at least minimum this much marks should be. So then you can go down to the marks, which can vary from institution to institution. Total notioning learning hours have also been defined for assignments of credits across the school education. So now we are talking about credits right from the class 6 onwards to higher education, and even including the vocational education and training or skilling. Every year, 40 credits, that will mean 1200 hours per year, are to be taken in consideration to devise these 40 credits for different levels. And if you want to know about per semester, obviously in a year there will be 2 semesters, so every semester there will be 20 credit per semester. Fine. So there will be 600 notional learning hours. And yes, this also talks about additional credits which can be earned beyond 40 credits, and that's again a flexibility which will be to the student, that okay, in my this particular year I want to put more effort and earn more credit, and maybe next year I will be focusing on some of the other part of my professional requirement, and I will be taking it light with the minimum of the credits which I have to achieve. So all this possibility is now evolving, and we'll have to restructure our courses aligned to that. Also, one more very important thing that we have to keep in mind is that now the learning hours are not only the curricular part, but they also include the co-curricular and extracurricular component, which many students and we as institutions, we have been involving them, but they were not recognized in terms of credit. So they also need to be adjusted. And I'll talk about this. General education credit, if we talk about, in theory, 1 credit will be equivalent to 15 hours. Now, this is what is the teaching, because the new concept is being taught. So theory, there is for 1 credit, there is 15 hours, which is for teaching hours now. And correspondingly, you can calculate that will be double for the learning hours. But practical, it is the same, that the for 30 hours, which will be spent in the classroom, it will be equivalent to 1 credit. So now you see it is double. So if you have for theory, there will be 1 period per week, but for practical, there are 2 periods per week allocated. And for the experiential learning, where you have some alliance with the industry or some internship and all, so there the credit is now 40 to 45 hours. I will say take it on the higher side, and that is also a perfect multiplier here. You start with 15, that is 1 class per week. For practical, it is 2 classes per week, and for experiential, you can put the time as 3 classes per week for giving 1 particular credit. If we try to look up at the levels, credit levels, starting from grade 5, that is level 1, grade 8 is level 2, grade 10 will be level 3, grade 12 is level 4, and UG you see 4.5 to 6. So every year there will be 0.5 level which will be achieved. And this has been, I have elaborated this part, that the first year UG, if the student exit, then there will be certificate in a discipline or the field, including vocational and professional areas. In second year UG, it will be the diploma. Third year, it will be the bachelor's degree. Fourth year, it will be bachelor's degree with research or honors or engineering. So if the student wants an honors degree, he or she has to complete 4 years, and every year there will be 0.5 levels which he or she will be achieving. PG will be level 6.5 to 7, so only 1 year PG, and PhD will be the level 8. Now, how do you calculate the credit points? It is just a simple multiplier. Credit level into credits earned will be giving the credit points. So we have already now fixed 40 credits per semester, per year, sorry. So if you look at start from UG first year, this is the level is 4.5, multiply by 40, they will be credit points earned by the student will be 180. Similarly, for second year, it will be the multiplier with 5, so 200. So for the same 40 credits, now the points earned will be higher. For third year, it will be even higher, and the fourth year, it will be even higher. And similarly, you can take it to the master's and PhD level. And you can scale down to the school level, and you can refer to this NCRF document for more details. Vocational education part, because many institutions under UGC are also having BVOC and MVOC programs. So they also will be brought up in the same umbrella. And if you have to take those skill-based courses and giving to the general education and vice versa, then you can take the NSQF levels. So especially the vocational education part or the skill education part, when we say, then they have to be aligned as per the NSQF level. And here, for as per UGC, for a BVOC, it's like 30 to 40% general education and 60 to 70% of the skill component should be. So they'll be higher, but then these can be taken and mixed up into the general education component. If you talk about what inside these learning hours will be there, we are already used to having classroom teaching, tutorials, lab work, practical innovation labs, projects, yearly, half-yearly examination, class tests, other assessments, including formative assessment. They all will be part of learning hour. You cannot say that now the test is happening after the 30 hours, leaving the final examination, but otherwise it has to be, all the formative component has to be in part. But then more important is, as we now go into implementation of NEP, we have to reduce those components and add on more of experiential learning. And what will the experiential learning? Can we request you please look into your audios? Yeah, thank you. So in experiential learning is something you have to design, look into your course requirement, and then see what all type of experiential learning you can include. And you can be innovative in integrating performing arts, fine arts, music, handicraft, traditional heritage work, debate, discussion, essay writing, recitation, story writing. So see, what I'm talking about, it is in general for school education to higher education. Not everything can be there in the higher education, not everything can be in the school education. So from this, you identify that what all can be integrated in your curriculum. Celebration of festivals in institution, music performance, drama, self-defense classes, value education classes, counseling sessions, contests, events, competitions like hackathon, Olympiads, etc. All these have to be now part of the learning hours. It is not to be that it is something extra, we are not going to give you the credit. So this has to be integrated in that all thing. So sports, games, physical activity, yoga, life skill based education, employment skills, operational skills, which again will vary from level to level, like even fixing a bulb, basic carpentry, classes on morals or etiquettes, constitutional values, environmental sensitivity, etc. Social or community work, going into NGO, teaching it with NGO or some out-of-school students, environment-related issues, gender sensitization, shramdan, cleaning, all these, but they have to be looked up into that, okay, for which particular level, looking at the implementation thing can be offered. Also, training, skilling, minor, major project work. This project work is something will have to be evolving in better ways. Field visits, industry attachments, and that's where the entire internship concept you can integrate it with some local industry, look at their needs and design these type of courses as well. So properly well-defined internship, apprenticeship, hours, on-job training. So there will be all the ways of experiential learning that you can offer. Also identified that which all courses can be in online mode, the online courses, MOOCs, SWAYAM, or the blended format. So all this again will be a possibility. So idea is now with this document, which is actually a document which is implementing NEP 2020. It is the guiding light for all the institutions to follow. And many state governments and central government, they are further working in terms of every regulator will be coming out now with more precise. But then we also have to start thinking about what all activities we can integrate as we go further, because that still will be broad and the implementation in your classroom has to be yours. So this provides now a holistic development of the students, where not only the academic access, which we have been talking about class 1, 2, 3, 4, 10th, 12th, UG and PG level, but we now the students can take some part of academic access, mix it with some part of skill access and some credits from experiential learning. So all this will provide different students who will be at different combination. That will depend upon if there are some students who are still more research oriented, obviously their academic credits will be higher than the others, but then those who are immediately going into the work or some application point of the experiential learning, but then some minimum of each of them has to be there. It cannot be purely experiential, it cannot be purely skill, it cannot be purely academic. So that combination is, I think, we have to be providing some minimum base and then the options that, okay, now these are the skill courses, which particular skill you want to take. These are the various internships available, which particular thing you want to take and go it further. After the structure, let us talk about the curriculum and courses. When we talk about outcome-based education is a small word which is now more popular for learning, outcome-based learning and education. So that's where learning outcomes become very important. I'm already a committee member where AICT is implementing outcome-based education and all the books have been restructured. We are already through with 2 years book, where not only the curriculum, but this entire syllabi, and then how in classroom, what all activities, how do you integrate the missing elements of the graduate attributes are being worked out. And more will be, this is just an initial stage, and then later on, every teacher in their classroom will be coming out with these varied activities. So for example, if I talk about engineering education, these are the 12 graduate attributes which are listed as per the National Board of Accreditation in line with Washington Accord. That's the treaty we have signed. And why? Because these are the attributes or the traits in the graduates who are engineers, which will make them employable at the global level. And not only just employability, you see, they environment and sustainability, ethics, individual teamwork, communication, project management, modern tool usage, engineer and society. So it is not that the focus, if you look in the education system till now, where we have gone wrong is more focus just on the disciplinary knowledge, but less on its implementation. And the moment you put it, apply it on the real life scenario, the interdisciplinary approach, the sustainability, all these things come into picture. And that's where we have to see that every activity, they have to be mapped with these so that all these are covered in some or the other course as we go ahead. For UGC courses, these are the 15 graduate attributes. So just there's slight change, but overall the intent is same. So disciplinary knowledge, for a BSc chemistry honors or a physics honors or a maths honors or a biology honors or a BCom or a BA is just one requirement. In addition, communication skill, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, research related skill, cooperation or teamwork, scientific reasoning, reflective thinking, information or digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness or reasoning, leadership qualities, leadership readiness, and lifelong learning. After higher education, the student should be able to do the learning on his or her own. Unlearn and relearn, are we able to prepare them, is what these graduate attributes are about. But can you look back into your classroom methodologies? Are you able to prepare the students holistically in all these directions? The moment you start doing them, they will be better employable. They will be better citizens of our country. They will be better citizens of our globe. So we have to be looking into these, and this is what is the outcome-based. The outcome-based education starts from these points, and these then they form the program outcome, the so-called POs. Similarly, pharmacy education. So you look at the regulator of that and derive this. Now, once you have these, then every semester you'll have different courses, and every course will be having learning outcomes, which we called as course outcomes, the COs. So POs are coming from graduate attributes. COs are the course outcome. Every course will have different, and every course will have different chapters or unit. Then you say them as unit outcomes or UOs. So these are the different terminology you will find being used. But then while designing these learning outcomes, the learning outcomes are nothing but an exit outcome defined as a visible display of learning which is measurable at various levels. This is very important. So if you design a course outcome and you're not measuring, it is actually not a proper course outcome. While designing the learning outcomes at different levels, at course and unit level, they should be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, relatively challenging, and time bound. And every learning outcome should start with an action verb. Don't say the student should be able to do this. No, that can be an overall title. It starts with action verb. Analyze this, apply this, comprehend this. So for this, you can refer to the Bloom's taxonomy. So study the Bloom's taxonomy and the different levels of learning hierarchy. You can refer to those action verbs and see in your topic the same topic can be at class 11th level, it can be at UG level, it can be PG, but till where you are going to have its depth and analyze and assess also is something that you have to keep in mind while designing these particular course outcomes. And very sorry to say, most of our curriculums are not having properly designed course outcomes. If they have course outcomes, they are not being integrated with the assessment. So both have to go hand in hand. The activities. So see, activities in which the learners will be able to perform these. So once you design the course outcomes, the activities has to be designed and they have to be measured, and then you will be able to do the COPO mapping and the gap analysis, which now NAC and all other important accreditation boards are asking. So the OB framework, if you look into, it is taking inputs from industry and professional organizations on a regular basis, because that is where the students are going out, they will be absorbed. So what are the skill sets they require in that very particular subject specific or the course? And then you design the course outcomes, the student outcomes, they go hand in hand. And then the planning and delivery, how do you implement, what is the syllabi, what are the teaching methods, what will be the learning activities, what will be the assessment tools, everything. So this forms the part of the lesson plan. You put up that, okay, in first class, this will be done, in second class, this will be done. You have to be very detailed in these minute things and then document everything, what type of assessments, what type of activities will be there, and then do the assessment and evaluation at the course level. You combine them, you get the program assessment, and the different type of programs which an institution is having, you can even have the institutional assessment done. And at the country level, obviously, these institution level compilation are all the data now, if you see an IRF and others, they are all getting digital, and all this will be able to give our country's education system, how it is progressing and meeting those targets of the graduate attributes or not. So every semester, different courses, different units. So design these. I've seen many course outcomes having 8 to 10. Don't go into, it should be 5 to 6, but then that should be the highest level of that very particular concept that you want to test. Automatically, the lower things can get tested, and then you can look up at the alignment in the assessment. So this type of metrics we use for mapping of unit outcomes with course outcome, then course outcome with program outcomes. And at the end, you can do the gap analysis. For designing activities here, I will say you can also take the help from sustainable development goals, because sustainable development goals, which are 17, as you are all aware, are the real problems which we are facing at the global level. And there are issues at global level, and then every country has different variety of these at national level and at local level. So what you can do is you can look at the problems in your local level, gradually build up, look at the national level also and at the global level, and the projects can be aligned, activities can be aligned keeping these in mind. So whenever you design, see whether I am able to go into some of these. Anyhow, you may say directly SDG 4. Anyhow, the moment we are going into NEP implementation, the quality education is being, but then to what level is something a big question. So I'll say keep these SDGs in mind, and you can think that, okay, what type of activities you can have where once you design that, automatically you will find that many of the program outcomes are being also mapped. Coming to the teaching learning methodologies, they have to be ICT empowered. This I will just run through because Professor Bakshi has already highlighted. So for implementation of blended learning, we require these 3 things: ICT infrastructure and connectivity, e-content, MOOCs, and digital resources. So who will prepare this? This is again, there may be so many resources available. Still, there is dearth of good quality resource which are aligned to our curriculum. So there will be always a need of preparation of e-content and MOOCs and digital resources. Capacity building of teachers in all the fronts to improve their research capability, improve the teaching learning methodologies, the assessment techniques, or even in their subject specific requirements. Especially without technology, I think we cannot implement the blended learning type of models, because that's how we can go from teacher-centric to the learner-centric model, which is also being emphasized in NEP 2020. And here is this visual, which myself and Professor Bakshi, it's a publication of ours, the article, where how we can move from traditional model in face-to-face to the blended model is taking the Bloom's taxonomy at the center. If you look in the traditional model, a teacher introduces the new content and give the difficult part of the homework, that do the problems on your own. And if you now look into the school education system, the problems is something, then the parents will be like looking for, the child is not able to do, let's look for coaching centers. This is a wrong direction our education system has gone into. The easier part is being done by teachers and been again and again. 30, 40 years, they are teaching the same thing, the same notes. They will just share the information, and then problem solving is, okay, you do, it's not my headache. And all that information, if you will stick to that routine, is there on the Chat GPT. The next generation students will have that faster than you, and you will make yourself redundant. So we have to change to this flipped classroom model, not only for ourselves, but for the betterment of our education system. And how it can be done? Again, even outside class, there will be some application question given. How will you have analysis, evaluation, and creation? That requires discussion, deliberation between the student and the learners and the learners and learner. So that is now the flipped model, where outside the class, the teacher guided e-content as video lecture, MOOCs, or open educational resources is given. The student come prepared with that. And in the class, there are activities, there's discussion between the student, between the teacher, student, with the focus on problem solving, critical thinking, innovation, and creativity. And that is what is the shift, that from single teacher, now you're having many teachers, because one teacher is in front, but the other teachers whose videos are there, they are also providing inputs. The technology is also providing input. And this is definitely going to make the shift from rote learners to active learner. This is what is the learner-centric model that we are talking about. But then we have to devise the activities which can really take the hierarchy from remember to understand, to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. This is all the in-class statement. This is something lying vacant. We all have to design what all can be. And that's why teachers, just for the easiness, oh, we have been just prepared. This is the information I will share. I will write on the board and I will check. That is the easier part. Try to apply it. Unless or until you apply, the outcome-based education cannot be implemented. And why there is a change required? Is this the change the first time? I'll take you back in the history. The Gurukul model, I think we can recall how many students are there in front of this teacher. Can we afford? Can we afford this type of model right now? Not at all, because there are so many learners. Can you have 100 students or 50 students and without any board? No. So as the need of education to masses, obviously these teachers, look at the plight of these teachers when they shifted from this mode of teaching, facing the students, writing on stones, writing on leaves, shifting to slate and chalk, takhti kalam, paper, pencil, pen, and these green boards or black boards, जो हमने ऐसे पकड़ के बैठ गए that we don't want to leave. Come on, start leaving them. Because there's a limitation of space. You cannot preserve. You have to keep on improving upon this. As we had the technology, we have now so many computers, writing boards, digital boards, and these LCD projectors. The teacher is now again back to the students, but just the display is not a good way. Don't write everything on that. So we have to be improving upon the usage this. And in between came the coronavirus. And I will say this is the silver lining in the dark cloud of this pandemic, that education system, we as teachers started embracing, which we were fearing that technology is not to do. This video conferencing tool, okay, Zoom may be new, but then there were so many video conferencing tools from last 3 decades, but we never exploited them as much as now we are doing this. So unless or until you start having exposure to these technologies, you will not know their potential. And that's why, and technology will keep on changing. You have to see how you can try to implement in your professional requirements. And the same, the students also have to do. Otherwise, the moment they are not changing, they will not be required in the system, wherever it is. I'm saying it for the entire life. So in Corona times, there were ways where the teachers were writing on the board, capturing with these. I fully respect, but then this is not the way to go ahead. We have to improve upon these also. It is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. And if you look into how technology can be used to meet or overcome all the challenges which we are having for higher education: equity, access, and quality. They cannot go hand in hand if we are not having technology embraced by each and every teacher. We have to be taking it further. NEP clearly highlights on extensive use of technology in teaching learning, removing language barriers, increasing access as well as education planning and training. There's no role where without the technology or these tools, you can now be effective. MOOCs are a reality. I'm not going into the detail. The students can earn up to 40% credits in one semester. This regulation is already there, introduced in 2016 for 20%, and now it is up to 40% as revised in 2021. Choice-based credit system. And in NEP 2020, we are even giving more choices to the students by adding skill education courses, value enhancement courses, and so on. But if you look in, can I request to be on mute? Who is the admin? Can you? Yeah, thank you. So choice-based credit system, again, very effective that we'll be able to give choices, but how many choices we give in a face-to-face scenario? Not many. So we have to think that how we can provide more choices. Maybe some theoretical part can be put up in online, but more hands-on has to be where the choices can be offered. And it's not about that whatever we have been teaching, we will be teaching, we have to prepare in even in terms of subject. Look at, I told you, we have already done 2 phases of FDP for Delhi University, new courses, and we are planning hands-on sessions also for the upcoming. So it's all the preparedness. Any new thing come up with the industry help, the teachers have to be making themselves ready. Then and only then we will be able to implement. Even institutions who have ranking more than 3.26 in NAC and other parameters fulfilled, they can start fully online programs. And these will be again a boon for the lifelong learners. In between, the students want to take some job and still they want to acquire higher education. Why not? We should not stop. So along with the open and distance education framework, the ODL, this also is now a provision. But then who will implement? Who will prepare the content? For all that, the teachers have to be understanding that requirement, that all the technicalities around, the technology around, the subject requirement, the pedagogy requirement, and the entire detail of e-content development of online courses, MOOCs, and blended learning. Why the digital, I think Professor Bakshi also emphasized that just lecture and reading what we are doing or the student is doing on their own is around 5 to 10%. But as you introduce audio visual, as you introduce demonstration, as you have discussion or practice by doing experiential learning, the level of the percentage of learning becomes higher. The student becomes active learners rather than being passive learners and teach others. That's why you must be wondering, those who are experienced teacher, they know their subject so well. अरे पूरी जिंदगी लगा दी ना उसी चीज को वो करने में. But then that is not a better model for the students. Students have that limited time. They have to be exposed to other techniques, and that's why the need to shift from the traditional model to the flip type of model, taking the content along. Because if you want to shift to flip and you're still having the same rote learning, अरे पूरा टाइम निकल गया, आप कहाँ हैं? There's no time where I can do some activity. So the content has to be prepared for this massive requirement, either as open educational resources or if available as MOOCs or online, you have to. But then this is not the good format कि हर क्लास में एक कैमरा लगा दो and you're getting. So there is entire methodology where the subject specific requirement and technical specific requirement have to be seen as per the level of learner, entire instructional designing. And there are academic incentives for the teachers also, where this slide, you can see this I have taken from the CAS 2018 of UGC, where Almost equivalent to the publication, the creation of ICT mediated teaching, e-content, MOOCs is also given proper API benefits. And you should be also knowing about how the 4-quadrant format of e-content, slight different from the e-content 4-quadrant of the MOOCs. This is my own conceptualization of Tcsc kit. So those teachers in one particular course, those who are teaching, they can join hand, 4 or 5 of them, understand how this template is there, and then you can prepare this, which will be 5 API per module. So every course of 4 credit, you can have 35 to 40 modules prepared by your team, and that can be shared to the entire country. This is taken as a publication. If you see the quality of content, I will show you. This is how. Hello, everyone. Myself, Dr. Vimal Raj, and I am the coordinator of National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Government of India, at SCTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi.
And myself, Professor A.K. Bakshi. We welcome you all to the ARPAGE 2019, which is going to provide you a unique opportunity to learn as per your convenience. For this online refresher course, we have selected a variety of interesting and exciting topics.
So that these are useful for all the UG and PG chemistry teachers of our country, irrespective of their specialization.
Let's have a look at the variety of the modules which have been developed with the help of leading experts from all over the country.
To begin with, we will have a special module as Chem News. So this I'm skipping. So it has to be a visual treat, the subject, technology, and also very important, the copyright. As you are moving into digital, the plagiarism checking tools have to be used for your students as well. Those who want to get access on how the MOOCs and the structuring and what type of content, then this is a subject neutral topic, and it is useful to all of you for your better life, is like MOOCs on cancer fundamentals, which we have developed along with the Indian Cancer. This is available on SWAYAM. You can just search and you can enroll yourself. Also, the assessment methods have to be scientific and using technology. So NEP really talks about revamping assessment, but then teachers have to be prepared in terms of even making the items which are the questions, question banks and all is a challenge. So multiple assessment, each question should be then mapped to the COs and POs, the purpose of assessment, what type of assessment, whether it is assessment of learning, for learning, as learning, and there should be more focus on the assessment for learning and assessment as learning, rather than till now we have assessment of learning, which is the final summative examination. So there has to be more emphasis on the formative assessment. The different tools, like for written assignments, you can use plagiarism tools, give feedback for improvement or repeat the topic if the entire class is not clear. When you are making any questions for formative assessment, do put the feedback and give the timely feedback, which is possible through the technological tools, because unless or until the improvement is provided as feedback, it is of no use. The e-assessments are very important. They're also being emphasized for the online courses, those universities who want to prepare this. Without this, it cannot be done. And in terms of creating effective assessment, now we also have to look at from, if you have a skill course, then not simply test the cognitive domain, but we also have to be testing the affective and the psychomotor domain. So the 3H, that is head, heart, and hand, how much percentage and what will be the techniques where you can test the affective and psychomotor domains. So multiple assessments should be done. If we talk about tests, exams, quizzes, assignments, these are something usual, but then I will say immediately we should be moving to the projects, which can be individual as well as group. At least one group project, I will advocate that every student should be provided in a class portfolio, management and all these things, role play, group discussion, concept maps creation, blogs, even creation of documentaries, skits, recitation, art integrated activities. So we have to be looking into that, what are the types which are checking the individual performance and what are the ones which are for the group, because group activity also is very important if you look into the outcome-based education. Portfolio is something which you can immediately get started with, which first year, second year, third year, fourth, continuously, whatever activities, some good collection of students' work, which they can also show to the further employer, and all these achievements, some important certificate, they can also be there. Rather than physical, I will say go for the digital portfolios. There are so many tools, and continuous and comprehensive evaluation will have to again see that how we can take the help of technology. Presentations is something which should be, again, every student, when you're giving a group project, you tell that, okay, individual presentation will also be there and group presentation, so that they will be nurtured towards the 21st century skills, which is to make them globally competent professional. Group or the teamwork will be definitely meeting them to acquire so many graduate attributes in the POs form. When they are doing any group project, then tell them to structure proper report formatting. How, if it is a research type of activity, look at the thesis, the smaller version, and then but then the important elements, the references, the citation and all. Do the use of plagiarism tools, or if it is otherwise like a corporate type of report you're making, then look at the industry standards. So all those things have to be taken, and application in real life or industry or society will give you the idea that what type of projects you can really design in your. And I will say, don't stick with just the same type of assessment. You'll have to change it for every batch. It should not be that now the projects of that madam or that sir are available outside the school in a shop. I think projects or something have to be done inside the class with a continuous guidance or mentoring of the teacher, where there is a relevant proof with the GPS tagging of the visuals. Okay, yeah, you have to go to the field work, tell them you take a picture there and it has to be reported in the report as well as the presentation. So be innovative in designing projects when you want to implement outcome-based education, and tools for assessments are plenty. You have to be aware about them. Then and only you'll be able to design new type of questions. Now there is a possibility you can have not only MCQs or true false matching, but crosswords, drag and drop, and you can even have automated numerical questions and audio video based questions. So all this is possibility, but then these questions are waiting to be developed, because tools are there, but who is going to apply is the teachers with their subjects requirement, with their course requirement, with their course outcome mapping. All that has to be learned. So you can use various tools for opinion design in between the class. You can have the field survey in the form of various forms, quiz makers, hot potatoes, something you can make the crosswords. Learning management system is something that all of you should be knowing. It is very important now that all the digital things should not be scattering. It's not just passing it through the WhatsApp or taking assignments on the mail is not a proper way. Take it in proper learning management system, like SWAYAM is also a learning management system. Moodle, My Class, Genomio, Open will be enrolling you in the My Class only as a student, but then we keep on conducting FDPs for Moodle, where we give you one My Class also, and you can practice on how you can make these type of interactive questions and put the audio video content. And then you can do the quick analysis. Different type of questions are there. In between the videos also you can put questions. Look at this type of question where drag and drop is there. So all those questions which are more of rote learning, they can be put up into interesting format. Even gamification is there. Auto-graded quizzes are there. The question banks, when you make, take the help of Bloom's taxonomy and do the mapping at chapter level, topic, subtopic, and the difficulty level. And now we also talk about Bloom's digital taxonomy, where you see just bookmarking or copying, highlighting is the remembering part of this in the digital world. But as the students go to blogging or filming or podcasting or directing, we are making them into a creative skill. So can you have some group project where again they can use any of these digital tools to take them into these level is something which will be good. So you can take, okay, you go all through, you keep on taking pictures and visuals and videos, and this can be then compiled, and maybe 5 to 10 minutes of a documentary can be submitted by the entire group. And for management of questions, make some proper templates with feedback, placeholders, use plagiarism tools, rubrics for assignment, grading. This is again a very vast topic. When you go into projects, you have to mention the criteria and then design the rubrics. Examination, you can conduct proctored, but as the institution, again, cheating is very important. It is an act of deception that is intended or attempted to gain an undue advantage. So how do we stop our students? That is very important for credibility of degrees and certificate. And that's where online proctoring technology, it is there. NTA is already using this. You can also look into some tools where you can have the proctoring if you want to go into online courses, but otherwise even in your classroom you should be very critical in looking that the students are not cheating. With the Chat-GPT type of things coming now, there's a big alarming level of cheating which may be there, and we'll have to find means. Gamification can be there, and gap analysis and periodic analysis, that you can do attainment analysis and gap analysis by looking into different students, taking a compilation of all the class. And capacity building of teachers is very important in not only the basic ITC skills, but multimedia enrichment, your subject specific software, audio, video recording when you go into studio for a professional video, graphic and video development tools, some minimum idea where you can at least do minimum of your flipped classroom video recording, or the chroma, the ethical type I told about. OER, you must be aware how the content has to be uploaded. And at the end, I will use these two quotes. This is, I think, Einstein in the early years, and ma'am is, you don't have to be rocket scientist to figure out this, young man, 325 into 1. And Einstein could not answer that. So don't ever underestimate students in their different years of learning. I think we'll have to look into that part. Other thing I will like to mention is that life is the most difficult exam. And many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing everyone has a different question paper. And what are we doing? We are preparing all the students for the same type of question paper. Let us be innovative. Let us prepare them towards this reality. So thank you, everyone. I am now available for any questions that you have in your mind. You can unmute and ask or write in the chat. Dr. Shobha?
Yeah, ma'am. Participants, any questions for this session? Ma'am, it was a very wonderful session. Neatly covered all the outcome-based learning, which is very important, right from broad-based multidisciplinary holistic education, how it has to be imaginative and e-based curricular, the very important, the credit level, how we are going to credit rate and credit points on the basis of skills, knowledge, and abilities. We have very well defined, cleared what is one credit and 30 notional learning hours. What is it? Notional learning hours means it is not only the curricular activity, but also the co-curricular activities. Are very well on the components of learning hours in classroom, lab, practical, experiential learning. It also includes sports, games, model classes, etiquettes, your service to the NGOs, very well clarified with all the content which is relevant from for a student, not only from a curricular point of view, but also the co-curricular activities point of view. The 15 criteria for graduate outcomes at UGC level, you have also emphasized that the outcome-based education framework, which also highlights it should be a part of the 17 sustainable development goals, which will help right from the start, that is social, local benefits, then the national and the global benefits. The teacher to develop an e-kit with 2.0, we have very well demonstrated with that part also. Highlighting on the three motor domain skill, three domain skills, importance of group projects to be given, and group projects has to be such which is in relation to the research writing skills, and also to authenticate their research by GPS tabbing, plagiarism checking, all these stuffs were really very well understood. You made us very clear about what we have to get through with the students and what are the skills which we have to be updated and approved for the coming young generations. So many people. Any participants, any questions?
I thought that it will be like an overview, and every component you see, there is a detailed FDP they will have, and many sessions will be now following where you will find that details of these are being covered. Dr. Ritu is asking, good evening, ma'am. The colleges don't provide proper infrastructure, and sometimes the teachers are overburdened with other college works. Yeah, I think, Dr. Ritu, I fully agree with that. There should be less emphasis on the clerical work and more on the academic part, where we have the teaching, learning, how it can be improved, as well as the research. But then what I will again say is, till we are not using the tools, we feel that the many things are like more manual, then it will be more time consuming. So try to automate all your professional requirements. The moment you start using the tools, you will get time for yourself and for your professional requirements. And that's what I am saying. The implementing flip, you cannot do without technology. It has to be, you have to be tech savvy, you have to be having some base content, then only you will be able to shift towards that. Otherwise, it will be like going. Dr. Neha is asking why Bloom's taxonomy is so important to incorporate in FIP and FTP, ma'am. Very often tells about that. See, it's not a new taxonomy, but if you look at how beautifully it has been put up, our learning levels, that how we learn, starting from remembering, understanding, then applying, then evaluating, going to the creation level. So creation is something which is the highest level where we can use our cognitive abilities. So can we have around that very particular content or the subject, those higher learning abilities instilled in our students? That's why we have to integrate Bloom's taxonomy. Unfortunately, in education, higher education, we do PhD, we qualify NET, and directly after our study of PhD or masters, there is only subject-specific learning, isn't it? We have never been trained into technology. We have never been trained into pedagogies. Unlike the school education, B.Ed provides, but in B.Ed also, again, there are so many institutions which have mushroomed, and the quality of education which is being imparted is again pathetic. In B.Ed also, I interacted with many of the teachers at some school level, that if they will be telling about Bloom's taxonomy, they'll say, write a short note on Bloom's. Come on, that is not, you have to apply it. Can you make, you try doing this, take one topic in your subject, what you're teaching, and for the same topic, you try to make one question which is testing the remembering, understanding, applying, evaluation, analyzing. Creation, you will be, again, may not be able, but then try to do that. That is what will be preparing you, that yes, in the same topic, the same, what all further level, because the application part is missing. Analyzing, if you give them some case study that, okay, this is, can they analyze that? And that's why different assessment methods and different strategies in teaching have to be used, so that the higher learning levels can be achieved by our student. And the moment you go into these higher order thinking skills, you are making them better equipped for their further professional as well as personal requirements. In any problem, will your rote learning help? Rote learning, you look into internet, just 1 minute, you will get the definition. But how do you apply that? How do you use that knowledge to find the solution of any problem? That is where I think we have to work upon, and that is what is outcome-based education. But why do we need to incorporate this as an important pedagogy tool? Yeah, it is a pedagogy tool at school level as well. Fine. Which is better, revised Bloom's taxonomy or old? We now stick to revised Bloom's taxonomy. By default, it is being called as Bloom's taxonomy only. Creation is at the highest level. Earlier, the synthesis, what is the second last top level? But in the revised Bloom's taxonomy, the creation is there. Creation is something which is the ultimate application of your intellect and the thinking levels that you can use. It is a revised, but by default, we call it as Bloom's taxonomy only. The older is no longer used. Any other question? So all those important things I have told you, which if you are not aware, try to get insight into this and do some self-learning. Or if not, then if there may be some other appropriate FDPs coming, you can very well join and get the detailed understanding by that. And I'm sure other resource persons will also be highlighting now in more detail about how this has to be implemented and their views also. So thank you, everyone. Any other question?
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we have come up to the last session of today, that is vote of thanks. A very good evening to all. As all good things come to an end in life, so is this first day workshop of 1 week FTD program. On behalf of Tilak College of Science and Commerce, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this 1 week FDP organized by our college in collaboration with GAD TLC. At the outset, we are thankful to our Honorable Founder Chairman Shri G.N. Kurup Sir and Directors Tilak Group of Schools and Colleges, Dr. Shri Ajit Kurup and Dr. Arun Janardhan Sir for their continued support and motivation. A special thanks to the chief guest and keynote speaker, Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi Sir and Professor Dr. Vimal Rama for their time, cooperation, and their immense knowledge which they have given us today in this first 2 sessions. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. I would like to thank our principal for her enthusiastic support. A special thanks to the organizing committee, teaching and non-teaching staff of our organization for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to our participants from various states, from various institutions for their enthusiastic participation. With these warm words and a kind message, we move to the end of day 1 FDB program. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. And I also pay my gratitude and thanks to the entire team of your college, especially I think Dr. Anita, is she there or?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm there. Thank you very much, ma'am. Very innovative and nice session. Actually, I need to study so much things because this is this new. And definitely, I will attend one program on this your POCO and what newcomings are there. Definitely, I will attend, ma'am.
And this really shows if the leadership is there in the entire FDP, it shows your commitment to improve your education system. This is what we actually need. So thank you.
Ma'am. Definitely. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
ma'am.
All the participants are informed to fill in the feedback link. It will be shared in the group also. Please ensure you fill the feedback link on session based. 80% attendance is required if you need to complete with the CAS. So please be present for the FTP session on regular basis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.